Hope you all had lunch, finished your lunch. It's our time, being in 3 o'clock. Yes, sir, feeling much more energetic, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. So I found that it is a very tougher time, 3 o'clock, just after having your meal. Okay, the timing is somewhat crucial timing. Everyone will feel drowsy by this time. Okay. Anyhow, yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Your voice is clear. Okay, fine. Shall we proceed, sir? Shall we proceed? Yeah, we'll start. Yesterday we saw something about an introduction about environmental science, right? So I told environmental science should not be dealt in separation. We can't do like that. So most of we people, when we were aspirant, we did like that. So no subject can be dealt in isolation, sir. Everything is interrelated. So if you are done with the interrelation, what is the purpose of studying a subject? Why it is demanding? What is the application part? Then 70% of your subject is concerned. So I am trying to do that. So yesterday we saw about environmental science. What is the fundamental? What is life? Okay, the beauty of life. Okay, from a single cell, how we emerged as this much voluminous body. We can't even imagine, sir. It is nature. It is law of nature. The same thing happens in a plant, right? A plant, a huge plant, let it may be a banyan tree, a mango tree. It is very voluminous. It is very, very bigger. But the bigger tree starts from a single seed. It means that we will simply see it as a seed. But the entire future of the particular tree is being written in the seed. It's being written in the seed. That is the value of looking at a particular thing. Okay. So everything is predestined. It is being written in the seed itself. How many branches it has to produce, in which way it has to grow, when it has to attain maturity. Everything is predestined. It is stored in the chromosome in the form of your gene. That understanding we made. Then we discussed about what is a biosphere. In detail, we found what is lithosphere and the importance of the process called as weathering, right, sir? So what is weathering, sir? Someone tell what is weathering? So this is nothing but the soil forming mechanism. Rocks are there, but rocks, how do this source of soil is emerging, sir? So inside the earth, you know that it is not a uniform layer in earth. It has various layers inside, right? The crust, the mantle, there is a mesosphere, mantle, and the very interior is called as core. It is the core zone, crust, mantle. So inside this, again, it is made up of various type of minerals. Various types of minerals are there. When the minerals is going very deeper inside, out of the outside pressure, the temperature increases here. That's why the minerals is present in molten form. Okay, soil formation. Yeah, I will discuss what is soil formation, Mr. Pandian. Okay, so these minerals are present inside the earth. Various types of minerals are present. When it is present in the topmost layer, it doesn't matter. But when it is present deep inside, when you are going inside the earth crust, out of the pressure, out of the external pressure, the minerals are subjected to heavy pressure. By the way, the temperature increases. So now you have a semi-solid layer that is called as mantle. Mantle, it is nothing but asthenosphere. Astheno means nothing but a plastic layer. Asthenosphere. The Latin term for astheno, the meaning of astheno is nothing but a semi-solid, a plastic layer. So the material, the mineral present here, they are in a molten condition in a plastic layer. So wherever there is a gap, so see the crust is not uniform throughout the surface of the earth. In some places, the crust will be of lesser thickness. That is, I'm speaking about the outer covering where we are standing. The crust is of not uniform thickness, whereas in some places the crust will be of with high thickness. So when the molten material is coming here, it takes larger time to cut open this part and to come outside. If the molten material is being released in this area, it takes comparatively to this crust area, it takes lesser time. So wherever we have less thickness of crust, you can find volcanoes. So the molten material will come outside. When the molten material is present inside, it is called as magma. This is the source of soil. This is the source of the entire soil formation process, which is present inside. Magma, when it comes outside the earth's surface, it becomes lava. We use lava form. By the way, you have it in your mind. Lava means the molten material when it is coming outside. These lava, since the atmosphere temperature is comparatively less, they get solidifies. Okay, so sometimes it will be in the rock form, the molten magma in the lava form, they will get deposited. After cooling, again it will become as a rock. Due to sunlight action, this rock will be disintegrated. The rocks has to be broken up. There are various agents, biological agents, physical agents are there. Sunlight is a physical agent. The temperature received from the sunlight, now it starts breaking this rock. Even biological agents are there. Okay, there is a saying in Tamil, Yerumbu Kallum Theyum. Right, sir? Have you heard about this statement, sir? Yerumbu Kallum Theyum. So ants, they are a biological agent in soil formation. How it's a smaller ant, it is involved in soil formation in the form of biological agent, because ants, they secrete formic acid. So if a group of ant is marching over the rock, they used to spit out the formic acid. By the way, they will identify their group. That's why ants used to maintain a line while moving. They can sense the smell of that formic acid. But since this is being an acid, formic acid, they aids in smaller level of disintegration of rock. So say an ant group is walking over the rock, okay, they will spit more of formic acid, and at one point of time, when this is continuously happening, the rock, it may get disintegrated out of the acid action. Now again, it is subject to sunlight action. In a comparatively in a faster manner, this rock will be broken up. This is called as disintegration. So a bigger rock particles is disintegrated. That is the first stage of soil formation. And again, out of continuous disintegration, then decomposition takes place. Now soil is formed, right, sir? So when you are speaking about weathering, it is a sequential process. The first process is disintegration. That is, the bigger one is broken into smaller one. Disintegration of rock, followed by decomposition. You should not tell decomposition followed by disintegration. It's a wrong statement. The first step is disintegration followed by decomposition. What is decomposition, sir? How do a rock will decompose? Is it possible for a rock to get decomposed? So when an animal is dead, when a plant product, that is the litter material, is reaching the earth's surface, it is getting decomposed. Can I apply the same term for rock even? When the rock, bigger rock particle, which is disintegrated, it gives the mineral fractions again. It is loosened. Now, simply I can't tell a soil has formed. When the rock has disintegrated, I can't tell that soil has formed, because when I'm speaking about soil, if I take 100% of soil, no types of decomposition like leaching. Okay, so yes, sir. So 100% of, if I'm taking 100% of soil, what makes a soil, sir? So in a soil, 50% will be solid mass. That is the grown up mineral particles. That is a solid constituent. 50% is solid. Okay. So 45%, you take any type, any soil, sir. 45%, it will be the pore space. That is the gap between two solid particles. It will be. These are questions, sir. These are very important question areas. What makes a soil? 50% solid particles, 45% will be pore space. This pore space is very, very important to do agriculture. This determines which type of crop have to be grown. So the pore space varies with soil. And 95% is completed. What about remaining 5%, sir? The remaining 5% is the organic debris. Whatever living material after its death, if it reaches the soil, it will get decomposed. Again, it will give the minerals to the soil. It adds fertility to the soil. So organic matter is OM, that is organic matter is 5%. This only makes a complete soil. This is the last process, organic matter addition. So rocks, it is broken into smaller particles. Over a long period, it will be converted as mineral fractions. That is the solid fractions. So solid particle is 50%, 45% is pore space. So if you say clay soil, if you have walked in a paddy field, okay, have you seen a paddy field, sir? Always there will be stagnation of water. But if I'm having a sandy land, even after rainfall, heavy rainfall, the water will get infiltrated because the pore space is bigger. A bigger pore space will be present in solid particles. So whenever there is rainfall, the water will percolate inside the soil, between the soil particles. So that's why there is no water holding in sandy soil, in beachy soils. Okay, sir, if you go for a beach. Okay, so the pore gap is very bigger. So water will percolate vertically. Percolation is nothing but vertical movement of water. So they will percolate and they may reach the water table. But if I take clay soil, the size of the clay particles is very, very small. Size of the clay particles, it is 0.02. Less than 0.02 is the size of this. Sir, what are I telling? These are questions, sir. Less than 0.02 is the size of the clay particles. They are very fine particles. Okay. They have elasticity. That is the principle of clay. Right, sir? So elasticity, how this elasticity, but if I'm taking sand in my hand, I can't feel elasticity. I can take each and every separate particles, separate soil particles present in a sand. But this is not possible in a clay soil because the size of the clay particles, soil particles is very small, but the number of micropores. Okay. Here I'm speaking about macropores in sand. Whereas when I'm speaking about clay, it is micropores. Sir, in salt brine landscape, we can expect more space in 40%. Sir, I'm speaking, this is about general composition of soil, sir. Don't get confused about these stuffs. This is general composition of what makes a soil. 50% is solid particle, 45% is pore space, 5% is organic matter. Don't get confused about this. But I'm speaking about the size of the soil. I'm speaking about the size of the 50% of the solid particle. In a sandy soil, the size of the solid particle will be bigger. Whereas in a clay particle, it will be like dotted appearance, the soil particle size. In a sand, I can take individual soil particles, but in clay, it is not. Practically, it is very, very tougher to take. It will be finer particles. Understand, sir? It will be very much finer, but you see where I'm projecting, you see how many number of micropores are present here. We can't count the micropores present here. So this micropores present in the clay particles, so percolation is not possible. In sand, percolation is very clearly possible. That is the downward movement of the water. In clay soil, downward movement is limited. That's why wherever I'm having clay soil in a field, there will be water holding capacity. The water will be held in the topmost layer. Stagnation of water is possible, and this stagnation of water is needed for what, sir? Paddy cultivation. Are you clear about this stuff, sir? Here the point is this composition of soil is important, size of the clay particle is important, and the number of micropores. Which soil has higher number of micropores? Answer me, sir. Someone, sir. Which soil has higher number of micropores? Sand, silt, or clay? Sir, someone, sir, faster, sir. Just we discussed which soil has higher number of micropores. My question is very specific. It is my clay soil. Dinagaran, thank you, we know. Clay. Okay, sir. This has very important implication. When the micropores is very higher, it is very important for water holding capacity. I'm making pot with what, sir? Clay soil. Mud pot. It is made up of clay soil. I can hold water in that because it doesn't allow the water to come outside. That's why always I'm getting a cooling effect in a clay soil, right, sir? A pot made by clay, okay, it has more of micropores, so the air can get inside and the air can come outside. We can't see that, sir, in a mud pot, but always if you touch the outer layer, there will be some water presence in the clay, sir. Mud pot made out of clay, if it touches the outside surface, when it is extremely hot, when it is in the summer season, you can feel that as like we respire, as like the plant transpire, as like we sweat, they also used to sweat. There will be water droplets present in the outer layer of the mud pot made out of clay. Can you understand, sir? Yes, clay, sir, Pondian, right? Okay, these are implications. These are very important implications for agriculture. We will come up in coming sessions. How they are important while dealing with agriculture, I will deal, sir. But you know, understanding about what is lithosphere, have a sense how soil is formed out of lithosphere by weathering process. That is disintegration. It is a sequential process. That is disintegration followed by decomposition. So a soil, simply if I have minerals, I can't tell it is a soil. Some organic matter, some smaller amount of organic, that is 5% of organic matter. That is very important to make it as a complete soil, to add fertility to the soil, to give liveliness to the soil. Understand, sir? Yes. So then we discussed about level of organization, how organization is formed. So at the minuscule level, at the scratch level, it starts with an individual organism which has a capacity to function independently. It has such capacity to function independently. I'm speaking to you guys through online classes. That means that I'm an individual. I'm functioning independently now. But if I go to home, I have to play with my kid. For all of the other requirements and other stuffs, okay, for my joy and sorrow, I'm dependent on my family. I'm dependent on my friends' folk. So even though I can do all of my activities in an independent manner, but it is up to a particular limit, sir. After that, I'm dependent on someone. That's why an individual moves as a population. It is a collective action. For longer run, it can't be in isolation. Okay, so group of individuals of the same species. That is the condition here, right? So group of individuals of the same species, they belong to the same species. They makes a population. When I'm speaking about community, different species comes here. You see here, the condition is, it is different species which makes a community. And ecosystem. So various different, here we have to take a break, sir. It is our topic is environmental science, right, sir? It deals about ecosystem. We have to take a pass. Expectations, exceptions for saints who isolate themselves, sir. So yes, sir, they are, yes, they are exceptions, Uday. Okay. They isolate themselves. But for food, what they do, sir? For a particular time period, they can be in meditation and they can lead their life for 2 or 3 years, say some sadhus or saints. But afterwards, throughout their life cycle, at least before the life cycle, yes, nature dependent, they are extremity, sir. They are extremity. They know the art of living. We didn't know the art of living. We simply know that we need food and other stuff. They, as like plants deriving nutrients from the sunlight, they have the capacity to utilize the sunlight energy, and they can control their breathing. Okay, so if I'm breathing, it means that I'm alive. By the same time, I'm going to die. Breathing is not a simple action of liveliness. When I'm breathing, okay, it means that some oxidation reaction is taking place in my body. My burning is, some cell is going to burn in my body, right, sir? So automatically, when I'm breathing, I'm alive, as well as some of the cells is dying. Okay, this thing, they will bring in an equilibrium. What you asking, Uday? A saint, they will bring in equilibrium. They will control their breathing. By the way, they prolong their longevity. Understood, sir? So here, ecosystem, so different species, different population, they are coming together to form as an ecosystem. Then what should be a condition for a system, sir? Different species are here, different populations are present here. Still, I am calling it as an ecosystem. So what is a system? What are the components of a system? What is the function of a system? Don't go into environmental science. If I'm telling something as a system, obviously there will be various components. For example, if I take this laptop even, I call this as a system. Okay, whatever I'm speaking, you are audible. It is audible for you guys. We can chat. There's a purpose. Okay, the net connectivity should be in a proper manner. I need some gadgets. I have attached my mobile for net connection. I need mouse. Okay, like various components are associated for a specific function, for a smooth functioning of something. So everything should be assigned in a proper manner. Right, sir? Then only the system will function in a proper manner. So say in this ecosystem, the producer should be higher. Then only the food will be supplied to all of the dependent organisms, right, sir? So they all will come in interactions with one another. Okay, every organisms, every components. I can't tell this earphones is negligible part of this system, even though its cost is very less compared to the laptop. But it has, if I don't have this earphones, the purpose of this session will be question mark, right, sir? So likewise, all of the organisms present in this ecosystem, they will come in interaction, they will interact among themselves. At last, they will maintain a stability that is called as ecosystem. They have a structural and functional role to play. So ecosystem is called as a structural and functional unit of biosphere. That's why a simple definition, sir. They are called as the structural as well as functional. I'm again coming to the same example of this laptop, sir. The laptop has a shape, mobile has a shape. Every gadget used is here as okay. Weaving as a whole, it gives a structure, but it is giving a function that we people can interact. Right, sir? Likewise, various components here in the ecosystem, they have a structure. See, aquatic ecosystem, it has a structure. A terrestrial ecosystem, it has a structure. Various components adds point here to give a structure. By the same way, they interact and gives a fruitful function. Ecosystem stability, biodiversity. Right, sir? If the terrestrial ecosystem is rich with minerals, say for an example, if this ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem, that is a land ecosystem, is rich with minerals, whenever there is rainfall in this area, the rainfall will reach the minerals present here and it will bring it to the adjacent aquatic ecosystem and add up minerals. When the mineral is being added, the fertility rate of the fish species will be higher. The production rate of the fish will be higher. Now the population of the fish will be higher. So I will catch the fish from the aquatic ecosystem. By the way, it is supplying food to the not only all of the organism, but even humans. That is the derivations what we derive from the ecosystem. These are the utility what we derive from the ecosystem. So more of autotrophs are there. So assured oxygen supply, right, sir? They intake carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So say some tree species in a tropical biome. Amazon, simply it is called as the lungs of the world. Amazon forest itself contributes around 40% of the carbon oxygen for the entire world. That's why it is called as lungs of the world. It has a utility function. For this, every organism has to interact with each other. At the initial stage, interaction may be fatal. Understood, sir? At the initial stage, so I got married, sir. Say I'm telling for an example. But I got married, that's true. I got married. Initially, there may be some problem arising between me and my wife. So some kind of higher pitch of interaction may be taking place. After some time, say when years has passed, now I have 4-year kid and a child. So after a period of understanding, we come to know each other and we will get adjusted because our function is to run our family. So adjustment happens between these organisms. Okay, sir, for the stability of this ecosystem, the ecosystem has to move for long run, should be viable for a long run. The same things happens between us as well as in nature, right, sir? When they are stable, then only we can be stable, because we are the dependent factor from the environment for all of our actions. Say for this shirt, I need cotton. The cotton is being supplied by the soil. I have to drink water. The water is being supplied by the ecosystem. I have to breathe. We are not valuing that. Simply, since voluntary, breathing is voluntary action as involuntary action, sir. If a statement is asked, breathing is mandatory involuntary action. Whether the statement is right. So make it faster, sir. Breathing is mandatorily an involuntary action. Whether the statement is right. Can someone, sir? Mandatory action, sir. Yes, sir. Mandatory action only. I am asking whether it is compulsory involuntary action. Respiration. Sir, I am not doing any special activity for my respiration. I am speaking to you guys by the same way we are respiring. It is involuntary action. Majorly, it is involuntary action. But at condition, if I feel that I have to stop my breathing for a while, I can hold my breath. So it becomes a voluntary action. So popularly, it is involuntary action, not out of my control. Without my knowledge, I am respiring. Okay, but with my knowledge, I can even control my breathing. Involuntary. It's both a voluntary as well as involuntary action. Right, sir? We are compulsorily dependent on this ecosystem. So I can tell here comes something called as niche. Niche or niche. What is niche, sir? Ecological niche. What is this, sir? Can anyone say? But for how long is the question, sir? Yes, sir. That's why I told it is for a short time period I can hold my breathing. If I can hold something even for short time, then it is, I can tell it is in my control. It comes under my control. Voluntary. What is ecological niche or niche? This is very, very important tool or component. Without this, we can't move for environmental studies. What is ecological niche? Niche. Anyone, sir? So only in humans we have ego, sir. We are highly egocentric. Okay, when we learn something, we feel that I know everything, right, sir? But this condition doesn't happen in nature, other than human being, because we have consciousness. It is not a problem. Ego up to a particular limit is needed, right, sir? But in nature, in all organisms, there is no ego. They will do what is assigned in their body. They will perform according to their activity. Okay, a milching animals, say a cattle. If a cattle is having a bigger horn, it doesn't get pride that I'm having a bigger horn. right, sir, compared to other bulls. That horn is for a protective function. That doesn't gain pride over that particular component, right? So let it may be any organism in environment, all of the organism, they have a specific role to be played, right, sir? Say this ecosystem is a tropical rainforest biome. They have a specific role to play, sir. The evapotranspiration will be higher in tropical regions and they give rainfall throughout the year, continuous rainfall. Yesterday I told the ETL is the reason, evapotranspiration loss. Since this is present in the equator zone, the temperature will be higher. So transpiration loss from the tree will be higher. So cloud formation will be assured here and throughout the year there will be rainfall. But these fellows will not get pride about this temperate forest. They won't compare themselves because they don't have a consciousness. What is their role assigned? They have to perform, they will perform. Right, sir? So now I have taken an example of tree, but let it maybe some smaller level of species. Some smaller level of species. Say a crow. What is the importance of crow, sir? What is the importance of a parrot? What is the importance of a honeybee? Okay, they are collecting honey for their own use, honeybees. But if honeybees are lost, natural pollination is lost. Very good. Seed dispersal for birds are very good, sir. They create naturally for us. The birds, let me be any birds, they are the forest creators. I have no say. We can't contribute for a forest formation naturally, right, sir? We used to devast them. We used to exploit them because I need this table. I need a cart. I need some chairs. For all of this purpose, we used to exploit or else to utilize the nature, but these fellows contribute. Let it may be any species, they contribute. Birds, they will disperse the seeds, sir. Right, sir? This is ecological niche. Let it may be any organism, they have a specific role to play. We doesn't know what is the role it is playing, but every organism, let it may be a bacteria, it has a specific role to play. So what is the role played by the organism? Based on that role, we will give a name to that. Right, sir? So some earthworms, they used to decompose the organic matter. Right, sir? So they are doing the role of, the specific role of the earthworms in the soil is decomposition. Okay, decomposition, vermicompost, right, sir? So they will do the role of decomposition. Since they are doing the specific role of decomposition, I'm going to name it as decomposers. Right, sir? They are doing the function of decomposition. Out of this function, we are giving that a name as decomposers. So what is niches? It is specific to each and every organisms. What is the role played by the organism? Out of the role, what is the name derived? What is the status derived? So the role played is decomposition and the status derived is as decomposers. This is ecological niche. This has to be studied for every organism, sir. Every organism in environmental studies has to undergo ecological niche study. This is very, very important. So say, sir, in a class, in a civil service class, if some gundas are coming inside, if some rowdies are coming inside, they are also human beings, right, sir? But if I'm going to having a coaching center, I have to study about a particular student, his background and other stuffs. Then only I have to make him to join in a class. Without having a knowledge about the background of a student, if I enroll some other persons to get joined in my institute, okay, who are deviant, they will collapse the entire study system, right, sir? So that is the reason that it becomes very, very important to study about the niche of a particular organism. Is it clear, sir? So ecosystem, they form the structure as well as function of a biosphere. If I'm reading something, I'm reading an ecosystem only as a whole. Grassland ecosystem, mangrove ecosystem, a wetland ecosystem. In wetlands even, there will be various components. In mangroves even, there will be some dominant species, that is the mangrove tree species associated with some other species. In grassland ecosystem even, there will be various components. They give a structure and they give a function. This thing has to be studied by niche. So what is the role played by the organism? Out of the role, what is the position attained is called as ecological niche study. Why it is important, sir? Niche study. What will be the drawback if I am not reading the niche of a particular organism? 1 minute, sir. So this happens. So we are introducing many species from foreign, sir, out of its attraction, right? So if it is attractive, we used to introduce to our country. So we introduced eucalyptus. It is not of native of India. It is native of which country, sir? Eucalyptus is native of which country? So Prosopis julifera, it is different, sir. That is also again a invasive species or alien species. I am asking about eucalyptus. Can someone tell what is the native country of eucalyptus? England, sir. Okay, it is native of Australia. So most of you might have seen eucalyptus. It is a gigantic tree. Okay, you can find some oily appearance in the trunk of the tree. Somewhat, I should not tell even oily, it secretes some oil, and again it will be somewhat slippery. You can't, it is somewhat slippery. The trunk is very, very slippery. It produces some powdery appearance, powdery things in the trunk. Okay, sir. So this eucalyptus, it is gigantic tree, which is growing very exorbitantly, very taller, finding with limited water. That's what we thought before introducing it to India. We thought that this eucalyptus tree, they are having higher medicinal value. The oil, the secondary metabolites, the oils derived from this eucalyptus, they are used for pain relief, headache and other stuff, right, sir? So they are very excessively growing taller trees. So we thought that why can't we introduce it in India so that the dryland farmers will be very much gaining about this introduction. So simply finding the exorbitant growth of the eucalyptus, we introduce it from Australia into India. Now, if you go to any belt to Pudukkottai of Tamil Nadu, if you go to Ramnad belt, even if you go to some parts of Chennai, along the coastal line, you can find enormous area with eucalyptus plantation. So at the initial stage only they need water. After that it will grow by itself. When it is in the sapling stage, that is the young stage of the tree, that is called a sapling. When it is at the sapling stage, we have to water it. After some 6 months or say, there is no need that we have to water. It can withstand by itself and they will grow very exorbitantly. But after some time, after some years has passed, we found that eucalyptus has become a menace to India. Even if you go to Kodaikanal, even if you go to Ooty, you can find this eucalyptus tree. Previously, they are not origin of this. They are not native of this Ooty or Kodaikanal. Now, they are dominating the adjacent other native tree species. They are not allowing other tree species which was present previously there. They are dominating. Coming from some other country, they are dominating us. So this is not only suitable for human race, even for all of the plant and animal species it happens. So this is the importance of niche study. So if some scientists, before introducing this eucalyptus into India, if they have completely read about the niche of the eucalyptus there, what is the interaction? What is niche, sir? Ecological niches. What is the role played by the organism out of the role, what is the status assigned to it. So what is the role played by the eucalyptus? If it is read very properly, if the niche of the eucalyptus is completely made, this problem might have not arise. That is, we might have not introduced eucalyptus at all into India. So the niche, what are the other factors of niche, sir? It can be called as nutritive niche. Okay, by various factors we can name this niche. One such factor is nutrition condition, nutritive niche. What is the nutrition requirement for this eucalyptus tree? Okay, sir. Some minerals, what are the minerals required? How do they absorb the nutrients? Whether it excessively absorbs nutrients from the soil. So if I'm having agricultural land, so if I'm planting eucalyptus in the border, if it is an exorbitant usage of minerals and nutrients, it will derive all of the nutrients present in the agricultural soil. Then I can't raise my agricultural crop in this area. So I have to study the nutrient niche of any organism before introduction. Then habitat niche, where it is occupying. Okay, that is habitat, where it is occupying, which area it is occupying, in which mode it is going to disperse. Okay, dispersal mechanism, living mechanism, what are the areas it is going to occupy. If it comes in any kind of soil, if it comes in any kind of soil, then it is a condition that my native species will be a question mark. Their survival will be a question mark. Right, sir? The habitat has to be studied. The chemical character of this the chemical requirement of this organism has to be studied. Like this way, what is the entire set of package which is required for the individual organism has to be studied in a holistic manner before introduction. This happened with catfish, right, sir? This catfish, again, it is not native of India. This catfish was introduced in India. We thought that it can be commercially grown, and the entrepreneurs will be helped a lot. They will get more money if they are rearing catfish. But this fellow catfish, they will eat our native fishes. By this way, if I'm releasing this catfish without studying the niche of this catfish, their feeding mechanism, that is the eating niche. That is the feeding niche. If I have not studied clearly about the feeding niche of the catfish, before studying this, I am releasing this catfish into a aquatic ecosystem, say in a pond or else in a river. So they will be completely eating all of our native fish. Right, sir? Then biodiversity of my ecosystem will be a question mark. Are you getting me, sir? Why I'm speaking about niche? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In catfish is used as a fish finger. But have it in mind, whatever which is growing in your soil, that will supplement you more than other products. Okay, that is why niche study is important. Now come again to this eucalyptus, sir. Then what will be the why, sir? What is the bad effect of releasing this eucalyptus? So if I see some other tree, say if I'm having a coconut tree in my place. Okay, sir. If I'm having a coconut tree, adjacent this area, sir. This area up to which a tree will disperse its root. This area is called as dip circle. Make a note. It is very, very important. The area up to which the root is spread by any vegetation, especially trees. It is called as dip circle. This is very, very important in agriculture point of view, because all of the crop improvement, if I want to improve this coconut tree, say if there is a pest attack in coconut tree, if I'm applying some pesticides, okay, if I'm doing it as a root application, I will find out the dip circle. Okay, then I will apply in this root zone. If I want to apply fertilizer, if I'm not familiar about the dip circle, if I'm applying fertilizer here, what is the use of, sir? I'm making a pit and I'm dumping fertilizer here, applying fertilizer here. Can the root can derive this fertilizer, sir, or manure? fertilizers or else maybe organic manure. It is wastage. Simply I am wasting fertilizer or manure being applying here. So the fertilizer or manure have to be applied adjacent or nearby to the dip circle so that the root can derive the nutrients and supply it to the tree. Understood, sir? This is dip circle. So our coconut tree in the dip circle, if you find, you can find some other plants growing in this dip circle. This is very important. Say if a bird has dropped some tomato seeds, the tomato sapling will be growing adjacent in the dip circle of the coconut tree. It means that this fellow coconut tree, which is present for many years in my area, it is allowing some other plants to grow in its area. Understand, sir? But this fellow eucalyptus in its dip circle, it is not even allowing any plant to grow in this area. It doesn't allow any plants to grow in this area. If you see, anytime if it is possible, if you see eucalyptus in the dip circle, there won't be any species. Now tell me whether it is good for biodiversity or bad for biodiversity. This eucalyptus dip circle condition. Whether this condition will be having higher biodiversity or this condition will be having higher biodiversity. Answer me, sir. Condition 1 or condition 2, which will be having higher biodiversity? Sir, someone, sir, are you getting my point, sir? Are you getting me what I'm asking? So someone answer me, sir. Number 1, sir, very good, we know. Okay, so number 1, so see, the niche study is very important. It is having a setback even with biodiversity. Eucalyptus is not allowing some other plants to go in this area. This effect by eucalyptus is called as allelopathy effect. Not allopathy. Allopathy means it is modern medicine, modern medicine. It is allelo, that is allergetic, allelopathy effect. Allelopathy, allergetic reaction. So how come it is possible, sir? Allelopathy. Alleles is different, sir. Alleles are different. Alleles is nothing but the very other forms of gene. If I'm speaking a gene corresponding Vijay Pandian, alleles, it is ALLELES. Alleles are nothing but variable form of gene. Say a gene corresponding for tallness. If I'm tall, okay, either I have to get the tallness character from my father or else from my mother. So if for tallness, if my father is contributing his gene, if his gene of interest is expressed in me, then it should be dominant, capital T. And again, my mother gene will also be contributing, but it is not expressed, it is small t. If I'm tall, my tallness is because of my father contribution. My mother contribution is also there, but it is recessive. This is dominant and this is recessive. This combined one is called as gene. This variable form of gene is called as alleles. This is in correspondence with chromosomes in gene. Whereas I am totally discussing something about differently. It is allelopathy effect. That is a plant which is not allowing some other plant to grow in their area, in their vicinity. Then how it is possible? Sir, why, sir, coconut trees are allowing some plants to grow in their area, but eucalyptus is not allowing? Can I tell that if a plant is not allowing, sir, I am selectively permitting some persons into my house. If I'm doing so, I'm not allowing some other persons to come to my house, sir. It means that I'm working out of my consciousness. If someone is coming to kill me, I will lock the door. Okay, sir. So the same thing as we do, that is happening in a plant even, in a tree even, right, sir? This fellow is allowing everyone to grow adjacent to this area, nearby to this area. This fellow, eucalyptus, it is not allowing some persons, any persons to grow in this area. Can I tell they are having sense? They are having some limited sense. They are having some sense. How it is possible? They start releasing some chemicals, eucalyptus, from their root. They will release something that is called as, 1 minute, secondary metaboloids. They will release something called as secondary metabolites, pseudochemicals. Then what is secondary metabolites? Secondary chemicals, secondary metabolites, or pseudochemicals. So if my enemy is coming, I can go and lock my door, but they are standstill. They are not evolved as like human. Then how come it is possible? It is by release of certain chemicals. That chemical is called as secondary metabolites, or else pseudochemicals. Pseudo means false chemicals. So if something is written as secondary chemicals or secondary metabolites, it is an inference that obviously there is something called as primary metabolites or primary chemicals. So chemicals can be classified as primary and secondary chemicals. Primary metabolites or secondary metabolites. Then what is primary chemicals, sir? So it is quite common for all of the organism. So organism, whatever which use the chemicals derived from their body for its own purpose. Okay, sir. So our eye, if it is daytime, I need what type of cells, sir? I need cone cells. The cone cells is supplied by some chemical that is called as iodopsin. Right, sir? Iodopsin. Whereas for my night vision, if I'm going for night vision, if I'm walking in moonlight, a limited light, then my rod cells will come to figure. They will dominate by night time. Both the cells are present in our eyes, right? Rod cells, that is for night vision, and for day vision, it is cone cells or cone cells. So cone cells for day vision, rod cells for night vision. So both are present in my eyes only. Now, which cell will be dominating? Cone cells will be dominating because it is daytime. So when the iodopsin is released, this is nothing but a chemical. When the iodopsin is secreted in a larger quantity, your cone cells will be activated and you can have night vision, day vision. When it is night time, your iodopsin chemical production, in your body will be reduced. Okay, sir. Instead of that, rhodopsin, a chemical that is called as rhodopsin, will be produced. So when this chemical dominates, your rod cells will be activated. Then your night vision is possible. If you are going into a theater, sir, to watch a movie, after purchasing ticket, if you are entering the cinema hall, theater hall, for a particular time period, you can't see where is your seat, in which way you have to, in which direction you have to move. For a particular time, you can't recognize. After some fraction of time, say minute or so, then you can see the chairs present there, the seating arrangement, the pavement, and other things you can find with limited light. So this means that why you can't see instantly, your iodopsin is dominating. Suddenly, if you are entering into a dark room, rhodopsin has to come to figure. It takes some time for this shift from iodopsin to rhodopsin. So all of our body action is nothing but chemicals. For that, I gave an example with eye. So these iodopsin and rhodopsin, they are primary chemicals because I'm using for my actions, right, sir? So many chemicals will be used by the plant animals for its own purpose. Those chemicals are called as primary metabolites or primary chemicals. Are you clear, sir? Some chemicals, some metabolites Metabolites, why it is named as metabolites? Because all of the things has to be produced because of metabolism. Okay, sir. I'm eating food. The food has to be broken into smaller particles. This is called as catabolism. That is the breakdown of bigger particles into smaller particles. Catabolism has to take place. After that, from these broken up particles, digested particles, the minerals, because my cells need minerals only. It doesn't take food as such. Okay, sir. Catabolism is the first process of breakdown process, sir. Then the reabsorption of nutrients is called as anabolism. Okay, sir. The blood, in our bloodstream, all of the minerals will start floating. And by this way, to all of our cells, the needed. So for iodopsin and rhodopsin, if I'm taking some examples, sir. Sir, can you explain examples in Tamil? Right, sir, right? So உதாரணத்துக்கு நான் சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா, இப்ப கண் பார்வைக்கு எல்லா உடம்புல இருக்க எல்லா எந்த உயிரினம் சொன்னோம்னாலும் அதுல கெமிக்கல்ஸ் தான் சார் இருக்கும். அட் லாஸ்ட் கெமிக்கல்ஸ் சி டிஎன்ஏ பார்க்கணும். டிஎன்ஏ என்ன சார்? டிஆக்சி ரிபோ நியூக்ளிக் ஆசிட்ஸ். தி நேம் இட் செல்ஃப் இட் இஸ் கால்ட் அஸ் ஆசிட். ஆசிட்னு தான் சொல்றோம் அது. அப்ப நம்ம உடம்புல நடக்கிற எல்லா நிகழ்வுகளுக்கும் ஆசிட்ஸ் கெமிக்கல்ஸ் தான் காரணமா இருக்கு. இந்த கெமிக்கல்ஸை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ற கெமிக்கல்ஸை நான் என்னோட உபயோகத்துக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா அது பேர் பிரைமரி கெமிக்கல். இல்ல என்னோட உபயோகத்துக்கு நான் யூஸ் பண்ணல, அப்படியே அட்மாஸ்பியர் ரிலீஸ் பண்ணிடுறேன், எங்கேயோ ரிலீஸ் பண்ணிடுறேன், ஆனா வேற எதுக்கு யூஸ் ஆகுது அப்படின்னா அது செகண்டரி மெட்டபாலைட்ஸ். ஸோ eucalyptus they release some secondary chemicals. These secondary chemicals will not allow some other plants to grow in that area. This is called as allelopathy effect. Are you getting me, sir? Is it clear, sir? Can we proceed? So இது மட்டும் கிடையாது. Allelopathy effect is not the only effect of eucalyptus, but beyond this root area, they will invade adjacent area. They will, yes, thank you. They will invade adjacent area and they will suck the water table present here. Say, if I have planted eucalyptus, if I have a well in this area, ஒரு கிணறு இருக்கு இந்த இடத்துல, இந்த கிணத்தை வச்சுதான் நான் விவசாயம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். இந்த கிணறுன்றது மேலாப்ப தெரியுது, ஆனா உள்ள வாட்டர் டேபிள் இருக்கு, ரைட் சார்? So these fellows, this root will spread their roots and they will suck the water present in this area. So if there is a pond, the eucalyptus, they will suck water from the pond. So there is a chance that the water present in the pond will get reduced. So that's why this eucalyptus, beyond allelopathy, they are called as subsoil water degrader. Now tell me whether it is good or bad, sir. Subsoil water degrader, நிலத்தடி நீரை உறிஞ்சிரும், ஃபுல்லா உறிஞ்சிரும். இதே நாளடைவுல நடந்துகிட்டே இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொன்னோம்னா விவசாயம் பண்றதுக்கு எனக்கு தண்ணி இல்லாம போயிடும். இந்த ஒரு ட்ரைலாண்ட் ஏரியால ஏற்கனவே நிலத்தடி நீர் கம்மியா இருக்கு, அந்த இடத்துல ஃபுல்லா யூக்கலிப்டஸ் போட்டு நட்டு வச்சிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா எனக்கு லாஸ்டா என்ன இருக்காது? நிலத்தடி நீரே இருக்காது, விவசாயமே பண்ண முடியாது. இட்ஸ் வெரி பேட், சார். ரைட், சார்? So why this thing happened to India? We escaped. We didn't made a ecological niche study of eucalyptus. Are you getting me, sir? Niche study is பண்ணிருந்தேன். இதோட நியூட்ரிட்டிவ் நிச் என்ன, இது எந்த மாதிரி உணவு எடுத்துக்கிறோம், இதோட நீர் தேவை என்ன, எந்த இடத்துல வளரும், அதாவது ரூட் எந்த அளவுக்கு போகும். If I read this completely about the complete study of eucalyptus, if I have made, this problem might have not arisen in India, right, sir? We can tell n number of examples. Eichhornia grassipus. Okay, அதெல்லாம் வந்து அமெரிக்கன் கண்ட்ரீஸ்ல இருந்து வந்துச்சு. ஆகாய தாமரை, வெங்காய தாமரை. So they will produce some colorful flowers. அங்க போய் பார்க்கும்போது அவங்களோட பாண்டுலயே ரொம்ப அழகா இருந்துச்சு, அழகான பூவா இருக்கு. ஸோ அதை இங்க கொண்டு வந்து இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணி விட்டோம். They are called as terror of Bengal now. Water hyacinth, Eichhornia grassipus. Okay, they invaded, they occupied the entire aquatic ecosystem, not allowing some other species to grow in this area. Indigenous plant sampling which is being there years and years, that should be, yes sir, that's why indigenous plants, which is suitable to that area, that has to be promoted. Seemai Karuvelamaram, that is called as Prosophis juliflora. That is also an invaded species. Introduced species. These are called as alien species. Parthenium, right, sir? Parthenium. That is also an obnoxious weed. Parthenium is called as Congress weed. Obnoxious weed. We'll discuss, sir. In agriculture, we'll discuss. Just know that what is ecological niche. That is what is the role played by any organism. Out of the role, what is the position attained by the organism. So this niche vary according with various parameters. A niche of an organism may vary with microclimate, may vary with soil requirement, may vary with nutritive requirement, may vary with water requirement, habitat requirement. But introduction of British influence on ornamental plants also a role of this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. British introduced crotons, right, sir? They introduced crotons. Whether it is famous now or not, I'm not knowing. Crotons, in most of the corporate offices, we can see crotons. So these crotons, they can grow even in a closed room. In a closed room, with limited sunlight. So for aesthetic sense, it is called as aesthetic sense. Aesthetic abdina alaguga mattum. Alagin karanamaga mattum aesthetic. For aesthetic value, we introduce these crotons in corporate offices, any offices, in our living room. Hall lo kuda valakranga crotons. But this fellow, it was introduced in India, but this fellow will release more of carbon dioxide. நார்மலா ஒரு செடி அப்படின்னு சொன்னா ஆக்சிஜன் ரிலீஸ் பண்ணும். அப்போ நமக்கு நல்லது. துளசி வந்து அதிகமா ஆக்சிஜன் ரிலீஸ் பண்ணுதுன்னு சொல்றோம். நான் ஹால்லயே குரோட்டன்ஸ் வளர்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னோம்னா அது பக்கத்துலயே நான் இருக்கேன். பெட்ரூம்ல குரோட்டன்ஸ் வளர்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன். அப்ப நார்மலா நானும் பிரீத் பண்ணும்போது என்ன பண்றேன்? கார்பன் டை ஆக்சைடு ரிலீஸ் பண்றேன். குரோட்டன்ஸும் கார்பன் டை ஆக்சைடு ரிலீஸ் பண்ணுது. திரும்ப நான் அதை தான் ரெஸ்பைர் பண்ணணும். Understand, sir? So if I have studied the niche of the crotons, what is the mechanism of crotons? If I'm clear that it is releasing CO2, I might have not introduced this. I won't go for plantation. Understand, sir? Tailamaram, enapodum eucalyptus. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So are you clear about niche? Shall we proceed? Yes, sir. So then we switch it on to biome. Food chain and food web, we made a clear understanding. If one organism is removed, the entire ecosystem will be collapsed. Food web, it is interwoven, all possible interwoven connection of food chain. If one organism is lost, for some other organism, there is alternative food source. This is the point you have to derive. Alternative food source, food chain la adhigama irukuma, food web la adhigama irukuma, food web la da adhigama irukum. அப்ப ஆல்டர்னேட்டிவ் ஃபுட் சோர்ஸ் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொன்னோம்னா ஒரு உயிரினம் வாழ்றதுக்கு சாதகமா இருக்கும். இந்த ஃபுட் செயினை விட ஃபுட் வெப்ல என்ன அதிகமா இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா பயோடைவர்சிட்டி அதிகமா இருக்கும். Biodiversity will be higher. Alternative food source will be there. Okay, sir. All possible combination of interwoven food chain gives a food web. Yes, sir. Then we discussed about ecotone. What is ecotone? That is the two different ecosystems when they meet. That meeting place is called as ecotone. At the initial stage, a tension is present there. That's why it is called as zone of tension. Okay, sir. The meeting point is called as zone of junction. Compared to these both adjacent area, the population present here will be higher. What do you call this effect, sir? Someone answer, sir. What do you call this effect? The population present in a ecotone which is outnumbering the adjacent area. What do you call this effect as? Sir, someone, sir, make it faster. Edge effect, very good, sir. Edge effect to the okay. Edge effect, and whatever species present in the ecotone, that is called as edge species. Okay. So richness of biodiversity, stability of the ecosystem. Why biodiversity is higher in this area? This is because of nutrient flux. Nutrient is derived from this aquatic ecosystem. In this case, விளிம்பு விளைவு. Very good, sir. விளிம்பு விளைவு. விளிம்புல என்ன ஆகும்? இங்க இருந்தும் நியூட்ரியன்ட் கிடைக்கும், இங்க இருந்தும் நியூட்ரியன்ட் கிடைக்கும். இது ரெண்டும் மிக்ஸ் ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும். Continuous supply of nutrient is present. So excessive reproduction, excessive number of population is present here. Okay, sir. So before coming to this, so this is nothing but food chain and food web. This is one of the function of the ecosystem. So what is ecosystem? We made it clear. Ecosystem, it is nothing but structure and function of the biosphere. நான் சும்மா பூமியில என்னத்த வேணாலும் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன், எல்லாத்துக்கும் நான் வந்து பேர் தெரியாம இருந்தா என்ன சார் பண்றது? ஒரு கிராஸ்லேண்ட் ஈகோசிஸ்டம், இது வந்து ஒரு புல்வெளி காடுன்னு சொல்றேன், இது சோளா காடுகள்னு சொல்றேன். ஓகேங்களா? இதை வந்து என்ன சார் தைல காடுன்னு சொல்றேன், இது சந்தன மர காடுன்னு சொல்றேன், இது வந்து ஒரு குளம், இது குட்டை, நீர்நிலை அப்படின்னு ஒவ்வொரு பேரா கொடுக்குறோம் இல்லையா? இந்த பேர் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு காரணம் என்ன அப்படின்னா, எல்லா உயிரினம் இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணுது. இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணி நாங்கெல்லாம் இந்த இடத்துல இருந்துக்கிறோம், நாங்க இப்படித்தான் இருப்போம், எங்களுக்குள்ள ஒரு சிஸ்டம் நாங்க ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டோம். நாங்க எலி அதிகமா வருதா, பாம்புக்கு சாப்பிட்டுட்டு இருக்கோம். ஓகே, அந்த பாம்பு ஏன் வந்து எலியை சாப்பிடணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இல்லைன்னா அந்த எலி வந்து பயிரை வந்து மேய்ஞ்சிடும், பயிரை சாப்பிட்டு காலி பண்ணிடும், நமக்கு உணவு இல்லாம போயிடும். இல்லையா, ப்ரொடியூசர்ஸ் அதிகமாயிரும். ப்ரொடியூசர்ஸ் ஒரு நேரத்துல அதிகமாயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னு சொன்னோம்னா, அந்த மினரல்ஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் அதை எடுத்துக்கிறோம். கடைசி நேரத்துல என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா, அந்த இடமே வேஸ்டா போயிடும். ஸோ எல்லாத்தையும் செக்ஸ் அண்ட் பேலன்சஸ் வச்சுக்கிறதுக்கு தான் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சிஸ்டமே வருது. I can get a structure and a function at last. This is called as ecosystem. This ecosystem la மூணு ரோல் இருக்கு, right sir? So functions of ecosystem. What is the function? They are transferring energy. We will simply see this as a food chain or a food web. But this was the agriculture previously what I had. Sir, this understanding we need, sir. Earlier in India's poverty also, out of famine, people consumed farm rats too, sir. Yes, sir, sir. That is a different case. My point here is, previously, my agriculture was a kind of food web system. Can you imagine, sir? I have witnessed when I was a kid, sir. Now, what is the modern agriculture we are doing now is nothing but a food chain kind of agriculture. Modern agriculture. Previously, say, ஆற்றல் கடத்தப்படுதல் அல்லது ஆற்றல் மாற்றம். Yes, sir. Very function of the ecosystem is transfer of energy. I am speaking now. I am speaking for 2.5 hours. How I derive energy, sir? I derive energy either from plant source or else from animal source. ஒன்னு நான் வந்து சாப்பாடு சாப்பிடணும், இல்லை அப்படின்னா விலங்குகளை சாப்பிடணும். அந்த விலங்குகளுக்கு யாரு சார் உணவு கொடுத்தது? அப்போ உணவு உற்பத்தி பண்றது தாவரம். அந்த தாவரங்களத்துல இருந்து தான் எல்லாருக்கும் உணவு கிடைச்சாகணும். உணவு சங்கிலி அப்படின்னா எனர்ஜி, ஆற்றலை கடத்திட்டு இருக்கு. என்னால உணவு தேவையானதை என்னால நான் உற்பத்தி பண்ணவே முடியாது. நான் தாவரத்துக்கு இருந்து டிபெண்ட் பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும். That's why we are always consumers. We are heterotrophs. These fellows, they are the hero, autotrophs. Using sunlight, they will produce their own energy and they will give to other fellows also. Okay, sir. So coming to this, we can make a comparison about modern agriculture and current day scenario of agriculture. So say when my grandfather, okay, they were performing agriculture. Whatever the need of their house was met with the farm itself. They won't go for market. Okay, அப்படியே நிலத்துக்கு போவாங்க. நிலத்துக்கு போகும்போது அப்படியே தேங்காய் பொறுக்கிட்டு வந்துருவாங்க. ஒரு 10 தென்னை மரம் இருக்கும், தேங்காய் பொறுக்கிட்டு வந்துருவாங்க. ஓகே, வீட்டுக்கு தேவையான கீரை அறுத்துட்டு வந்துருவாங்க. பிள்ளைகளுக்கு ஒரு சளியோ காய்ச்சலோ இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொன்னோம்னா, இதெல்லாம் நானும் அனுபவிச்சிருக்கேன் சார். சின்ன வயசுல நான் போய் பிடிச்சிட்டு வருவேன். அந்த வாய்க்கால, நிலத்துல இருந்து போற வாய்க்கால, அந்த வாய்க்கால போய் நண்டு பிடிச்சிட்டு வருவோம். அந்த நண்டை இடிச்சு குழந்தைகள் கொடுத்து சாறு எடுத்து ரசம் வச்சு கொடுப்பாங்க. சளி அரெஸ்ட் ஆயிரும். அந்த வேலியில ஃபுல்லா வந்து தொட்டாச்சி நீங்கி இருக்கும், தொட்டால் சுருங்கி, மைமோசா பூடிக்கா, ஓகே, தவளை இருக்கும். அந்த வாய்க்காலேயே சின்ன சின்ன ஐர மீன்லாம் இருக்கும் சார். when I was school kid. ஓகே, அந்த வாய்க்காலேயே, அந்த நிலத்துல இருந்து தண்ணி பாஞ்சு போற வாய்க்காலேயே ஐர மீன் இருக்கும். Aira means it is a small kind of fish. That is a indicator species. Indicator means yesterday I told something about lichens. Did I, sir? Did I told something about lichens? While discussing about tundra biome, it is a combination between a pycobient and a mycobient. The partnership between an algae and a fungi. அது இருந்தாதான் lichens ஒரு உயிரினமே ஃபார்ம் ஆகும். It is called a symbiosis. Right, sir? Symbiosis. Wherever lichen is present, ஒரு இடத்துல lichens இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, it will grow only in what's the quality of air. When the purity of air is good, then only it will grow. So it is called as an indicator species for what's the air purity. It will not grow in a polluted condition. Likewise, நான் சொன்னேன்ல அந்த ஐரமீன், அந்த ஐரமீன் நீர் சுத்தமா இருந்தால, தண்ணி சுத்தமா இருந்தா மட்டும்தான் அந்த ஐரமீன் வளரும். அப்போ ஒரு குளத்துல நான் ஐரமீனை பாக்குறேன். இப்ப அந்த ஐரமீன் 1 கிலோ 1000 ரூபாய் சார். அந்த குளத்துல ஒரு ஐரமீனை பாக்குறேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா அந்த குளம் கண்மாய் சுத்தமா இருக்குன்னு அர்த்தம். Understand? Yes, sir. Lichen is equal to algae plus பூஞ்சை. Very good, sir. ஓகே, ஐரமீனை பிடிச்சிட்டு வந்து குழம்பு வச்சுக்குவாங்க. வீட்டுக்கு தேவையான காய்கறிகள்லாம் நிலத்துல இருந்தே பாட்டி எடுத்துட்டு வந்துடும். But is it is possible now, sir? Sir, aphids related to lichens, can we say, sir? No, sir. No, sir. Aphids is a pest, sir. Aphids are a pest occurring in a plant. Sir, I will tell, sir. As of now, I don't know the English name. I will tell it. Okay. So one thing, understand, our ancestor did agriculture while they were doing agriculture some decades back, some centuries back. The biodiversity was maintained. They won't spoil the biodiversity and do agriculture. They will do agriculture without disturbing the biodiversity. But modern day agriculture is kind of food chain. I will devast the entire forest. I'm going for organic fertilizer. I'm going for organic pesticides, inorganic fertilizers and inorganic pesticides. So, இப்போ நான் பூச்சி மருந்து அடிச்சுக்கிட்டே இருக்கேன் நிலத்துல, உரம் பயன்படுத்திட்டே இருக்கேன், அது பூரா கெமிக்கல். அந்த கெமிக்கல் வந்து வாய்க்கால கலக்குது, கலந்துச்சுன்னா ஐரமீன் செத்து போயிடும். ஓகேங்களா சார்? நண்டு இருக்காது, நத்தை இருக்காது. So biodiversity, modern agriculture is a setback for inorganic agriculture, is a setback for biodiversity. Okay, sir. The stability of the ecosystem is question mark in modern form of agriculture. That's why we have various alternative form of agriculture in recent days. We will discuss, sir. Shall we take a break, sir? We will take a break for 10 minutes and we will revert back. Shall we? We take break for 10 minutes. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'll come in 10 minutes. Shall we start, sir? Shall we start? Are you there? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, someone asked what is iramine? That is loaches. Loach. Generally, it is called as loaches. There are various type of fishes, loaches. So it keeps the aquatic ecosystem clean because it will consume the waste material. Okay, thanks, Kalishwara. Okay, loaches. There are various subspecies in loaches. Generally speaking, they are benthic organisms. We will see what is a benthic organism. In coming classes, we will see what is a benthic organism. Benthic means those organisms which is living in the bottommost layer of the aquatic ecosystem. நீர்நிலையின் அடிப்பகுதியில் ஆள் பகுதியில் காணப்படும் உயிரினத்துக்கு பேர் benthic organism சொல்லுவாங்க. Loaches is a kind of benthic organism. Okay, we proceed, sir. So before this, there is one more thing we have to know. What is the type of interaction between organisms? So when I'm speaking something about an organism, the niche of the organism is very, very important because the niche is going to play a very important role for an interaction of organism. So what is interaction? I am interacting. What is the purpose of my interaction, sir? So whatever I know, I have to share with you guys, right, sir? For understanding, there is a purpose for interaction. Okay, if I am interacting with my family, there is a purpose. If I am interacting with the police personnel, there is a purpose. Likewise, interactions may vary according to the demand, right, sir? So simply we are telling that an ecosystem has formed, right, sir? Say let it may be any kind of ecosystem. A tundra, boreal, aquatic, terrestrial. See here, a natural aquatic ecosystem, a freshwater ecosystem. So generally speaking, broadly, the ecosystem may be natural or else artificial. Either I can even develop my own ecosystem, artificial ecosystem. In my agricultural land, in my farm, I can dig a well. Okay, I can dig a pond. I can construct a pond. This is an artificial pond in my agricultural land. This pond water can be utilized by me for various agriculture purposes. So the ecosystem may be either natural or else aquatic. So coming to aquatic ecosystem, we will make it a clear sense. So broadly speaking, aquatic ecosystem, water ecosystem can be generalized. Okay, whether it is flowing or else stagnant. நீர்நிலையில் ஒன்னு தேங்கி இருக்கிற நீரா இருக்கும் இல்லாட்டி ஓடிட்டு இருக்கிற நீரா இருக்கும். So ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு, if the water is flowing, then it is called as lotic ecosystem, LOTIC. So any aquatic ecosystem, when it is flowing, for flow, this spelling is FLOW, right, sir? Two words are coming here. Lotic. Lotic means flowing aquatic ecosystem, whereas lentic means stagnant aquatic ecosystem. A pond is an example of lentic ecosystem. Directly you will get questions about this. Which among the following is lotic and which among the following is lentic? So stagnant. Stagnant aquatic ecosystem is called as lentic aquatic ecosystem, right, sir? So NT comes here, sir. Stagnant. T is prominent. N is prominent. Stagnant. Okay. So river, stream, rivulets, they are examples of lotic aquatic ecosystem. Pond, example of lentic aquatic ecosystem. Then what will be the character, sir? How do I have to classify in some other means aquatic ecosystem? I can classify it whether it is freshwater or else marine water. Some water, fresh water, it is potable, it is drinkable, which makes that I can drink it. Some character of that water makes that I can drink that water, but I can't drink, that is called as potable water or drinkable water. Whereas marine water, it is not drinkable. I can't drink it. What is the character which is altering whether it is potable or drinkable? It is nothing but the amount of dissolved salt content. Okay, if the dissolved salt content is higher, sodium chloride, NaCl, or any other substances which is dissolved in a higher concentration, then the salt level of the water will be changing. It will become marine. it is not drinkable. Whereas fresh water, the dissolved salt content is less. So based on this, if the water content is having 5 ppt or less than 5 ppt, parts per thousand, if I'm taking 1000 ml of water, in 1000 ml of water, if the dissolved salt content is equivalent to 5 ppt or less than 5 ppt, then I can drink this water. So fresh water means obviously the range of the dissolved salt should be 5 and less than 5. Whereas marine, if the salt content is above 35 ppt, if it is 35 and above 35 ppt, then it is exclusively marine aquatic ecosystem. And the range of salt between 5 to 35, that is called as brackish. That is nothing but an intermediate range. These condition is very, very important, sir. 5 ppt, it is fresh water. Above 35, it is marine water. And 5 to 35, it is called as brackish water. So mangroves, they are examples of brackish water. The range of salt content will be between 5 to 35 ppt. This is the condition. Okay, sir. So one thing, sir. So see here, it is an ecosystem. Various organisms are there. I can see some dominant tree species here. Based on the type of the tree, I will name the forest, right, sir? If the grasses are more, then I will tell that it is grassland ecosystem. புல்வெளி அதிகமா இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா அது புல்வெளின்னு சொல்லிடுறேன் நான். இல்ல இன்னொரு வனம் சொல்றேன். இது சந்தன வனம் அப்படின்னு சொல்றேன். If the dominant species is sandalwood. So by seeing there is a structure, based on the structure, I'm going to name this ecosystem. By the same manner, if there is more of grasses, it is supporting more of herbivores. Okay, see, more of deep population. Okay. So it is giving a structure and function. So it takes more years. It takes more number of years to get this stable ecosystem. It takes more number of years to get this stable ecosystem. This is possible only because of interaction between all of the organisms which is present in this ecosystem. Let it may be any kind of organisms. The size of the organism doesn't matter here. The population of the organism doesn't matter here. Okay, all of the organisms present in this ecosystem, they will form the ecosystem out of the interaction. So what is interaction? So interactions can be, I will take a first slide, sir. Interactions can be broadly classified, sir. So the popular interaction is mutualism. So if I'm speaking with you, I'm sharing something. Someone asked me what is the name of Iramine. Okay, so it is helping me to recall it. Loches, right, sir? So you are asking me some question, I am asking you some question, we both are benefited. This is called as mutualism, the first kind of interaction, where when interaction is taking place, now I am interacting with you. Obviously, I need one more person to interact, at least one person from YouTube to interact with me. So mutualism happens when both the interacting organisms are benefited each other. First organism is also benefited and the other organism is also benefited. This kind of interaction is mutualism. Some example, honeybee. Honeybee, they will collect nectars from the flowers. So the honeybee is getting some food source. So the honeybee is benefited. The floral species, the pollen grains from the flower is being carried by the bees and it is deposited in some other flower. By this way, cross-pollination is assured. We will get variations in plant species. So this is mutualism. Both the organisms interacting, if it is benefited, then it is mutualism kind of interaction. Then what is symbiosis, sir? Symbiosis. Symbiotic relationship. I told lichens as an example of symbiotic relationship. So what is symbiotic relationship? This is also a kind of interaction where both the organisms are benefited. Then why I have to name two ways as mutualism and symbiosis? Yeah, in mutualism also, both the organisms interacting, they are getting benefited. In symbiosis also, both the organisms are benefited. Then why I need this two terminologies to describe? It is a compulsory mutualism. Symbiosis is nothing but a compulsory mutualism. So lichens, in case of lichens, it is a partnership between algae and fungi. Algae can grow separately in anywhere because they are the producers, they can grow separately. And fungi, they are saprophytes, they can grow. There is not a condition that always fungi should be dependent by algae. Even when a wooden log is falling, it will derive nutrients from the wooden log. Punjaigal, kalan, right, sir? It is not a condition always that fungi has to derive nutrients from algae. But when this combination happens, then only I will get a name that is called as lichens. That's why I'm telling that a compulsory mutualism has to take place to name something as symbiosis. They both have to compulsorily benefit each other. See, in this mutualism case, if the flower is not pollinated by honeybees, say some other insects, say butterflies will come. Okay, they even derive nectars. These butterflies will help. Okay, sir, these butterflies will help the flower to pollinate. So wasp, wasp will help to pollinate. They will derive food from this. So there are alternative things. It is not a condition that the flower is always compulsorily dependent on honeybees. But in symbiosis, algae in lichens is always associated with fungi, and fungi is always associated with algae. This is symbiosis. So compulsory, yes sir, beetles even. Beetle, any insect, sir, any insect, sir. So compulsory mutualism is called as symbiosis. Here both the organisms are benefited, and I need compulsory association between these organisms to name that particular species. One more example I can give as corals. Okay, corals. So corals is nothing but a relationship between algae and a polyp. Okay, sir. So there should be always algae added with polyp to name it as a corals. This is a symbiotic relationship. Understand, sir? We will deal details, sir, in coming classes. Okay, so just know what is interaction. The thing is, compulsory mutualism is symbiosis. And competition. We are into competitive field, competitive examination. So what happens, sir? What is the interaction here, sir? So the number of seat allotted for UPSC or TNPSC, any exams it may be, sir, it is very, very less. Openings. So some lakh and lakhs of people will be appearing for this examination. Okay, so one organism will be benefited and other organism will be, I can substantiate it in many ways these things, sir. Generally, one organism will be affected and other organisms will be benefited. So all of we are writing the examination, only some students will finally get into service. So they are benefited. Those who are in the race, at least for this sake, they are affected. Right, sir? But this process of competition is very tough. Right, sir? Even this fellow, those who are succeeded, those who have got service, they have toiled as like this other fellows. They have undergone some trauma. They have undergone some difficulties. So at the end, both the organism which is participating in competition, both will be affected. In the process, both are affected. In the end of the product, some of the organisms are benefited and most of the organisms are affected. Is it clear, sir? We can substantiate this competition under two conditions. In the process, both are affected. At the end of the process, someone will be benefited and someone will be, many fellows will be affected. So when this competition arises, when the resources very limited. So say in a forest ecosystem, even there will be predation more. Okay, there will be fight among the herbivores even when the autotrophs are limited. When the resource is limited, obviously there will be competition kind of interaction. This is a point you have to have in mind. When the resources are limited, competition types of interaction will be happening. The same thing happens in competitive exams even. TNPC, UPSC, they will give the call for will be around 500. limited postings. For 500 postings, how many lakhs and lakhs of persons are writing? This is scarce resources. For appearing, each and every participating agent here are marching towards the achievement or procurement of this 500 limited available resources. So the condition for competition is limited availability of resources. Understand, sir? So next one is predation. So before that, I will do with commensalism. Commensalism. Yesterday, someone even asked about what is commensalism. Repeatedly in prelims, you will get question about commensalism and amensalism. So what is commensalism? Here, both two organisms are interacting. One organism is benefited, other remains unaffected. This O symbolizes unaffected. No reaction, no action. One benefit and other is unaffected. Where it happens, sir? You see a whale, sir. A whale, which is the largest animal in aquatic ecosystem. Its size is very, very bigger. Okay. Over the neck of the whale, okay, in the neck of the whale, some animals, smaller animals, that is called as barnacles. These barnacles were once upon a time free swimmers. They freely swam in the water in search of food. They are smaller animals, barnacles. Now they started attaching with the neck of the whale. If they want to attach with the neck of the whale, they have to hold tightly, because this whale will swim with, yes sir, this whale will swim with faster speed. So owing to the speed of the water, these barnacles may be removed out of the water action. So their adaptive mechanism will be holding mechanism. They have to hold this whales very strongly. Now, if the whale is eating, the left-out particles, the chewed out particles, the left-out particles will be directly derived by the barnacles. There is no need that barnacles have to roam freely, spending their energy in the water to search food. So over a period of time, these barnacles have evolved that there is no need of locomotion. They lost their locomotion. They simply started clinging with these whales. Understand, sir? The weight of the whale is very, very higher. Compared to the weight of the whale, barnacles is like very minimal. It is negligible, highly negligible. I can't feel pain if I have head gloves in my hair. The weight of the head gloves doesn't matter in my head, doesn't bother me. In the same manner, but this head gloves is sucking my nutrient. Understand, sir? It is not a kind of commensalism. Even though the head gloves pain, head gloves weight doesn't matter to me, but it is deriving nutrients from my outer layer of the skin. It is sucking blood. So it's a kind of parasite. But these fellows, barnacles, they doesn't suck nutrients from the whales directly, but the left out food particles of the whale is being utilized by the barnacles. So here the whale, it is not affected. The whale remains unaffected and the barnacles remains benefited. This kind of interaction where one organism is benefited and the other organism remains unaffected is called as commensalism. Just opposite to this is amensalism. So repeatedly you will get commensalism and amensalism. That's a point of question. What is amensalism? So here in this kind of interaction, excuse me, one is affected and the other remains unaffected. So it will be a bit confusing. That's why they are asking repeatedly. One is benefited, other is unaffected. That is commensalism, the barnacles in the neck of the whale. Whereas amensalism, one is affected, other remains unaffected. How it is possible, sir? We have seen tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest. What is the feature of tropical rainforest, sir? stratified tree species, a layered tree species. All of the tree species will be competing to fetch the sunlight, to derive the sunlight. Okay, a layered, a stratified tree species will be present. The tree canopy, the leaf canopy, it will be covering entire area so that sunlight even can't penetrate inside. The sunlight, it will be a tougher task for the sunlight to reach the earth surface, the ground layer. In some area, if there is a pass, if there is a gap, sunlight as a rays, it will fall the ground layer. Now, using this sunlight, limited sunlight, some small shrubs and herbs will be growing. Okay, sir. In the deep circle of the tree, some small plants will be growing. These plants are affected by the shade of these trees. Right, sir? But for this character, for this tree, for the concern of the tree is not at all bothering this plant. But for the plant, the tree bothers. The canopy of that tree cover is a hindering factor for the plant to grow. By this way, this plant, smaller plant, it is affected and the bigger plant remains unaffected. The bigger tree, it is unaffected and the smaller plant is affected. This type of interaction, yes, sir. This type of interaction is called as amensalism. Other than this, we have predation, parasitism. Okay, sir. Predation, simply eating some other organism. Predation. They predate, they prey upon some other organism. If a lion is eating a deer, the lion is benefited, the deer is being affected. The higher form of eating is called as predation. The lower form of eating is called as parasitism. Here it is eating, here it will suck. Parasite, they will suck, they derive the nutrients. Headlouse, leeches, they are examples of parasite. Okay, one organism is benefited, that is the leeches or the headlouse. They are mosquito, they are benefited, and we humans are affected, parasites. Beyond this, the last one more reaction is there, interaction is there, that is called as neutralism. Okay, sir, this is just opposite to competition. What is the criteria for competition, sir? What is the criteria for competition type of interaction to happen? Someone tell me, sir. Under which condition competition will take place? Competition type of interaction will take place. Sir, kindly make it faster, sir. Under which condition competition, what is the criteria for competition type of interaction have to take place? Edge effect landscape, sir, to have interaction. No, I'm asking what is the criteria for competition to happen? In competition, one is affected, one is benefited, right? Whenever the resource is limited, that is the criteria. சாப்பாடு கம்மியா இருக்கு, அப்ப எல்லாரும் அடிச்சுக்குவாங்க. அப்படிதானே சார்? வீட்டுல கம்மியா சமைச்சு வச்சிருக்காங்க, எல்லாரும் எனக்கு வேணும் உனக்கு வேணும் அடிச்சுக்குவாங்க. ஃபாரஸ்ட்ல என்ன இருக்கு? ஃபாரஸ்ட்ல உணவு கம்மியா இருக்கு, உணவு பற்றாக்குறை வரும்போது எல்லா உயிரினங்களும் சண்டை போட்டுக்கணும். போட்டித் தேர்வுல நம்பர் ஆஃப் சீட்ஸ் கம்மியா இருக்கு, அதனால எல்லாரும் அடிச்சுக்கணும். படிச்சவனுக்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் வேலைன்னு சொன்னா காம்படிஷனே தேவையில்லையே. அப்ப ரிசோர்சஸ் எப்பப்பெல்லாம் கம்மியா இருக்கோ அப்பெல்லாம் காம்படிஷன் டைப் ஆஃப் இன்டராக்ஷன் நடக்கும். ஆனா நியூட்ரலிசம் when resources limited, right, sir? A very late reply, sir, but so the criteria for competition to happen is limited resources, whereas neutralism is just opposite. When the resource is unlimited, okay, sir, when the resource is unlimited, எக்கச்சக்கமான ரிசோர்ஸ் இருக்கு, அப்ப என்ன சார் ஆகும்? ஒரே இடத்துல ஆடு மாடு எல்லாம் ஒண்ணா மேய்ஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கும், அதுக்குள்ள சண்டே வராது. So neutralism, both the organisms or how many number of organisms present, it doesn't matter. When the resources are unlimited, none of the organism is affected. Both the organisms are unaffected in case of neutralism. They even won't interact. I can tell that if the availability of food, so engineering graduates, they are getting job in their own domain. They won't compete with others. Agriculture graduates, they are getting up just after completion of their agriculture graduation, they are assigned a job. They won't compete with engineers. But the condition, this happened just at the time of independence. Okay. So say some decades back, this happened. Those who are completing their professional degree, before the completion of the degree itself, they are assured with a job. Say government job is assured for them. But the condition scenario has changed dramatically now out of the population explosion. Now for the single job, not only from the same domain, everyone is competing for competitive exams. Even MBBS graduates, they are competing, right, sir? So neutralism, when the resources are unlimited, there is no kind of interaction even. When job is assigned for a concerned person, they won't compete with others. There is no need that they will go and interact with some other graduates. Now, all are interacting for competition. Here, I can even tell that in neutralism, no interaction is taking place. Yes, sir, even IIT graduates, everyone is competing because resources limited. For some clerical post, engineers are applying, sir, because we have to run our family, run our life, right, sir? There is no other opening. So for some menial jobs, all of the graduates are applying, sir. The minimum qualification is 10th pass for that job, but graduates are applying. This is competition. Just opposite to this is neutralism, right, sir? Right. Any doubts in this area of type of interaction? This type of interaction is very, very important. These interaction, every interactions, all possible kind of interaction takes place between organisms. It may be mutualism, it may be symbiosis, competition, commensalism. All these interactions will take place between organisms. Finally, I will get a stable community as an ecosystem. So a forest, if I'm having a forest now, if I'm having a pond now, all this kind of interaction will be taking place at the initial stage. Okay. And even at the final stage, and I will get a stability of an ecosystem. ஒரு காடு ஃபார்ம் ஆகணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா இந்த மாதிரி எல்லா உயிரினத்துக்கு நடுவுலையும் இந்த வகையான எல்லா இன்ட்ராக்ஷன் நடந்து தான் அந்த காடை உண்டாகும். Understand, sir? That's why we have to read this type of interaction. Now we'll come to the slides, sir. Okay, so we are discussing about functions of ecosystem, right? In these functions of ecosystem, we have finished food chain and food web. Next one is ecological pyramids. What is an ecological pyramid? So we know that the energy produced by the autotrophs has to be transferred to the other level. This is called as trophic level. Trophic means nothing but energy. ஒரு படிநிலையில ஒரு ஆற்றல் படிநிலையில உற்பத்தியான உணவானது இன்னொரு ஆற்றல் படிநிலைக்கு கடத்தப்பட வேண்டும். That's why energy can neither be produced nor be destroyed. Okay, so which is present in one organism has to be transferred to the other organism, that is food chain. Organism eaten and being eaten. We derive our nutrients from either plant or animals, right, sir? So if I want to make this in a pictorial way, that is called as pyramids, ecological pyramids, right, sir? Pyramids, why this pyramids has to be made, sir? If I'm giving a diagrammatic representation of anything, I can tell what is the character of that particular ecosystem. So if I'm analyzing a forest ecosystem, if I'm analyzing what is the energy level of the forest, I can tell whether the forest will be stable or not, whether the ecosystem will continue or not. So this is one such tool. Ecological pyramid is one such tool to tell about the viability of an ecosystem. So we initially, there were many flaws. There are various type of pyramids which can be made. We started with pyramid of numbers, then pyramid of biomass, and finally pyramid of energy. Okay, sir. So pyramid of, we will find out the pros and cons of all of this methodology, how to give the energy level. So have it in mind whenever drawing pyramids of anything, any ecosystem maybe, the base will be always occupied by the producer. Understand, sir? The base should be always given to the producer. The producer occupies the base because they are the food producers. From there only, using sunlight, they will produce food. From there only energy has to be transferred. It will not be vice versa. These are questions. Energy can't be transferred in the alternative manner. It will be transferred always in the from the producer to the next level of the tropic level. Are you getting me this, sir? Are you getting this point? Energy will be always unidirectional. The producer should be always present in the base of the pyramid. So we started following this method called as pyramid of numbers. So here, if I'm taking a forest ecosystem, okay, since it is pyramid of numbers, I have to count all of the producer present. Okay, who are the producers? I will count, I will enumerate the entire producer present in the ecosystem. Is it is possible in a forest, sir? Is it is possible in a pond, sir? That's why this system is somewhat tougher. Please once again explain in Tamil, sir. Which one, sir? Sir, ஒரு ecosystemல இருக்க ஆற்றல் நிலைய ஒரு டயகிராமா ரெப்ரசன்ட் பண்ணோம்னா அதான் சார் பிரமிடு சார். ஆனா ஆற்றல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது என்ன அப்படின்னா உணவு வந்து நம்மளால உற்பத்தி பண்ண முடியாது. ஒரு தாவரம் தான் உற்பத்தி பண்ண முடியும். அப்ப தாவரம் எப்பொழுதும் ஒரு பிரமிட்ல அடியில தான் இருக்கணும். ஏன்னா அதான் பேஸ், அவர் தான் ஹீரோ. அவர் வச்சுதான் மத்த ஆர்கனிசம் உயிரினங்கள்லாம் உயிர் வாழணும். அதனால அவர் தான் எப்பயுமே எங்க இருப்பாரு, ப்ரொடியூசரு பேஸ்ல தான் இருப்பார் ஈகோலஜிக்கல் பிரமிட்ல. அவர் மூலமா தான் எனர்ஜி அடுத்தவங்களுக்கு போகணும். I will explain this, sir. I will explain this, sir. Okay, these are one of the method. Pyramid of number is one such methodology to enumerate the energy level. ஒரு ஃபாரஸ்ட்ல ப்ரொடியூசர் எவ்வளோ, பிரைமரி ப்ரொடியூசர் எவ்வளோ, பிரைமரி கன்சியூமர் எவ்வளோ, இந்த இதை உணவாக கொள்ளக்கூடிய பிரைமரி கன்சியூமர் என்ன, இதுல இருந்து உணவு எடுத்துக்கக்கூடிய செகண்டரி கன்சியூமர் என்ன, இந்த மாதிரி எத்தனை நிலை வேணாலும் போகலாம். இதை எல்லாத்தையும் என்னன்னு உட்காந்து இதெல்லாம் வாய்ப்பு இருக்கா சார்? லிட்டரலா இது மாதிரி வாய்ப்பு இருக்கா? ஒவ்வொன்றா எத்தனை ப்ரொடியூசர் இருக்கு, எத்தனை கன்சியூமர் இருக்கு, எவ்வளவு டெர்ஷியரி கன்சியூமர் இருக்கு, இந்த மாதிரி என்ன முடியுமா? இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா அது பேர் பிரமிட் ஆஃப் நம்பர்ஸ். we are counting each and every individual organisms, but it is practically not feasible. It is a time consuming process, and even while making count there is more chance that we will do some mistakes, right sir? So always pyramid of numbers will not give an exact figure, right sir? It is a tedious process again, customized process. So say pyramid of numbers, I am taking something as an example here. Pyramid of numbers in a grassland ecosystem. I told producers will be always at the base of the pyramid. Okay, so in a grassland ecosystem, the number of grasses will be outnumbering. It will be higher in population. Grasses, உணவு உற்பத்தி பண்றவர் அவர் தான் grassland ecosystem. Grasses தான் அதிகமா இருக்கும். But in a grass, okay, the number of grasshoppers which is consuming, okay, consuming the grass is less in numbers. So pyramid of numbers la grass அதிகமா இருக்கு, அதோட பேஸ் எப்படி இருக்கு, ரொம்ப விரிவடைந்ததா இருக்கு, a broadened base. Compared to the grass, the number of grasshopper is less which is feeding upon the grass. The grasshopper which is fed by frog, the number of frog is reducing, the number of snake is reducing. Okay sir, so the number of vulture is reducing. So the pyramid of numbers in a grassland ecosystem is upright. மேல் நோக்கிய நிலையில் இருக்கிறது. It is upright. Pyramid of numbers in a grassland ecosystem. Whereas pyramid of numbers, here I have taken tree as an example. Can I tell the single tree as an ecosystem? So what is the definition of ecosystem? It is nothing but a structural and functional unit of the biosphere. The ecosystem is made up of many community. That means it is made up of many number of population of different number of species. That makes an ecosystem. A tree, that is a different species, right? That is a producer. That's why I have made it as in base level. But in a tree, there will be different number of beetles. வண்டு நிறைய இருக்கும், பறவைகள் நிறைய இருக்கும், அந்த பறவைகள்ல தாக்குற பூச்சிகள் நிறைய இருக்கும், இந்த இலைகளை சாப்பிடுற பூச்சிகள் நிறைய இருக்கும், கனிகளை சாப்பிடுற புழுக்கள் நிறைய இருக்கும், right sir? So I can take it as an ecosystem. Here if I take this tree as an ecosystem, I have only one tree. So the base of this pyramid is very narrow. குறுகிய பேஸ் ஆக உள்ளது. ஆனா ஒரு ட்ரீல என்ன இருக்கும், ஒரு 500 பறவை 100 பறவை இருக்கும் அந்த ட்ரீயோட சைஸை பொறுத்து. The number of birds is increasing. So the base, it is also increasing. So the parasite which is affecting the bird. So in my head, I have more number of loves. If I take an example, in the same manner, in a bird, there will be more number of parasites. So these parasites, in the body of this parasite, there will be some hyper parasites, a smaller level of smaller sized parasites. So pyramid of numbers in a tree ecosystem, it is downward. It is upright for a grassland ecosystem. It is down, pointing downwards in a forest ecosystem. So the same methodology for two different ecosystem, I'm getting two results. If I'm getting two results with the same formula, then the system is wrong. It is not suitable. So pyramid of numbers, I skipped it. We are not following it because it is giving two different results for me. So you will get questions about pyramid of numbers in grassland will be in which direction? It will be upright in direction. You have to apply this sense. Pyramid of numbers in a tree ecosystem, it will be downward. Okay, because the base is narrow here. Only one tree. In one tree, I have more number of birds. In birds, I have more number of parasites. In a single parasite, I have more number of hyperparasites. So this system is not that much suitable, sir. Next, pyramid of biomass. Then what is biomass? We even used to calculate BMI, body mass index, right, sir? So what is biomass means? This is my biomass. My stature is my biomass. My weight is my biomass, right? So the weight of any organism is called as biomass. Technically speaking, it is nothing but the dry weight of an organism, the dry weight. So wet weight and dry weight are there. If I'm taking a plant and weighing it, with its moisture content, the weight will be higher, right, sir? With its moisture. If I take any part of the plant, it will be having some moisture. So obviously the weight will be higher. So I have to remove the moisture percentage present in that body. After that, I will arrive at a figure that is called as dry weight. So biomass is nothing but dry weight of any organism. So say pyramid of biomass in a water ecosystem. Inverted pyramid of biomass in a pond ecosystem. Here it is wrong, sir. So in an aquatic ecosystem, the pyramid, this is aquatic ecosystem. In aquatic ecosystem, I told, let me be any ecosystem, the producer should be at the base. In an aquatic ecosystem, the producers are algae. The algae are very smaller. If I weigh the weight of the algae, the weight of the algae is very less. Whereas the algae is being eaten by fish species, it gains more of weight. A big fish will eat many number of smaller fishes. By the way, the weight of the bigger fish will gain upon. So the pyramid of biomass of an aquatic ecosystem will be inverted. தலைகீழா இருக்கு. ஆனா pyramid of biomass இங்க நான் இது பண்றேன். Okay, sir. Pyramid of biomass, if I take this, this is pyramid of numbers. If I apply pyramid of biomass for this particular category, the weight of the tree will be higher. So this base will be higher. The biomass of the producer will be higher. The biomass of the birds will be lesser, comparatively lesser. The biomass of the parasite is still more lesser. Okay, sir. So the pyramid of biomass in a forest ecosystem will be upright. The pyramid of biomass in a grassland ecosystem, it will be upright. Biomass என்ற ஒரு ஃபார்முலா அப்ளை பண்றேன், அந்த கேட்டகரியை அப்ளை பண்றேன். அந்த கிரைட்டீரியா பண்ண அப்படின்னா வெயிட் எடுத்து பார்க்கறோம். அப்ப வெயிட் எடுத்து பார்க்கும்போது ப்ரொடியூசரோட வெயிட் தான் அதிகமா இருக்கு. அதை சாப்பிட்ற ஆர்கனிசமோட வெயிட்லாம் கம்மியாகுது. எதுல கிராஸ்லேண்ட்லயும் ஃபாரஸ்ட்லயும். அதே இதுல பார்த்தேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா ஒரு அக்வாட்டிக் ஈகோசிஸ்டம்ல ப்ரொடியூசர்ன்றது ஆல்கே, அதோட வெயிட் கம்மியா இருக்கு. அதை சாப்பிட்ற மீன்கள், அதை சாப்பிட்ற பெரிய மீன்களோட வெயிட் அதிகமாகுது. ஸோ pyramid of biomass is also not one and the same. It is inverted for an aquatic ecosystem and it is upright for an grassland ecosystem. So this system is not also suitable. Then comes the last one, the pyramid of energy. So this is universal law of thermodynamics. Okay, sir. Otherwise called as 10% law. Okay, repeatedly asked in mains. 10% law. So say if I am deriving some nutrient, நான் என்னமோ சாப்பிடுறேன் சார், ஒரு ஆப்பிள் சாப்பிடுறேன். அந்த ஆப்பிள்ல இருந்து ஒரு 100 கேலரிஸ், சும்மா ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லுவோம், 10 கேலரிஸ் எனக்கு கிடைக்குதுன்னு வச்சுக்கலாம். அந்த 10 கேலரிக்கான ஒரு ஆப்பிள் சாப்பிட்டேன், அந்த 10 கேலரிஸ் ஒரு ஃபார்முலால டெரைவ் பண்ணேன். 10 கேலரிஸ் மூலமா இவ்வளவு ஒர்க் செய்யணும்னு இருக்கு. ஏன்னா இவ்வளவு எனர்ஜி கிடைச்சா இவ்வளவு வேலை செய்யணும். ஆனா நான் 10 கேலரிஸ்க்கான உணவை சாப்பிடுறேன், அந்த 10 கேலரிஸ்க்கான வேலையை என்னால செய்ய முடியுமா? Whether the output will be one and the same, sir. So it will not be same, right? It will not be same, right? So I'm filling my bike with 2 liters of petrol. For 1 liter of petrol, the mileage is 60 kilometers. So obviously for 2 liters, I will get 120 kilometers. I should have to get 120 kilometers. Whether it is feasible after filling 2 liters of petrol, whether I can go for 120 kilometers, sir? Is it is possible, sir? So the mileage will be, actual mileage will be 80 kilometers or so. It will be varying. The same thing happens. Why this 80 kilometer only is achieved, not 120 kilometers in reality? Road condition, maintenance, parameter should also be considered. That is also one thing, sir. Tear and wear factor. Okay, beyond this, if I pour the petrol, if I kick start my bike, or else if I self start my bike, the engine has to gain in heat, right, sir? Spark plug heat வேணும், அதுக்கப்புறம் engine சூடாகணும், fuel consumption, right, sir? Fuel consumption is there for maintenance, for the starting process of the vehicle. வண்டியை ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றதுக்கு சில பெட்ரோல் வந்து வேஸ்ட் ஆகும், அப்படிதானே? அதே மாதிரி நம்ம சாப்பிட்டோம் அப்படின்னா, நம்ம சாப்பிட்ட உணவுல இருந்து என் உடம்போட மெயின்டெனன்ஸ், என்னோட மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதுக்கு எனர்ஜி போனதுக்கு அப்புறம் மிச்சம் எனர்ஜி தான் நான் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். This is fundamental for all organisms. This is universal law of thermodynamics. Some heat is stored in the form of unusable form of heat, that is called as entropy. That is heat, energy stored in the form of unusable form, heat stored in the form of unusable form. ஒரு பாத்திரத்துல பால் காய வைக்கிறேன், பால் காய வச்சா அப்படின்னா அந்த பாத்திரம் முதல்ல காஞ்சிடணும், அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் பால் காய வைக்க முடியும். அப்போ உண்மையான எனர்ஜி ஆற்றல் அப்படின்னு சொன்னோம்னா அப்படின்னா அந்த அந்த பாத்திரம் கழிச்சிட்டு பண்ணாதான் உண்மையான எனர்ஜி, அப்படிதானே சார்? ஆனா மொத்தமா எனக்கு எவ்வளவு எரிபொருள் தேவைப்படுது அப்படின்னா அந்த பாத்திரத்தையும் சூடாக்கணும், இந்த பாத்திரம் சூடானதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் பால் உள்ள இருக்க பால் கொதிய ஆரம்பிக்கும். அப்ப சில எனர்ஜி என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னா இந்த பாத்திரம் பிடிச்சி வச்சிருக்கு, இதுதான் unusable heat. Yes, sir. Thermodynamics we come across entropy, sir. That is the right thing, sir. The unusable form of heat. It applies for not only for machines, it applies for human body even. I need unusable form of heat for my homeostasis maintenance. என்னோட சமநிலையை மெயின்டைன் பண்றதுக்கு நான் இப்படியே இருக்கணும், நான் சாப்பிடாம இருந்தா கூட, கொஞ்ச நேரத்துக்கு சாப்பிடாம இருந்தா கூட என் உடம்புல உள்ள ஆற்றல் என்னோட எல்லா உறுப்புகளுக்கும் தேவையான எனர்ஜி சப்ளை பண்ணணும். அப்ப நான் சாப்பிடுற சாப்பாடு நான் செய்யற வேலைக்கு மட்டும் இல்லாம என்னோட உறுப்புகளை மெயின்டைன் பண்றதுக்கு யூஸ் ஆகும். That is called as homeostasis, a balanced maintenance, a equilibrium maintenance. Okay, it doesn't apply for thermodynamics, doesn't apply only for machines, it applies even for human body. This is universal law of energy, right, sir? So we will take an example of this pyramid of energy. This suits with, see here, I told producer will be always at the bottommost area. So 100%, if they are getting 100% of energy, only 10% from this 100% will be going to the next level of seed, some fallen leaf material, or even if it is alive, some worms or insect larvae are eating it. Only 10% from this 100% is available to the insects. So only 10% is available. From this 10%, only 10% will be available. That is 1% is available. Again, for crocodile, 0.1% only will be available. This applies for any chain of trophic level. Even if I take it as an example of grass, if grass is having 100%, the grass is being eaten by what's a grasshopper. The grasshopper will get only 10% from these grasses. Snakes will get only 10% from the grasshopper, and vulture will get only 10%. This is universal law, 10% law. So the level of energy when it is moving from one trophic level to another trophic level, energy will decrease. This is 10% now. Yeah, this energy dissipation in the form of heat also. Yes, sir. Some loss of energy is dissipated in the form of heat. Our silencer, bike silencer will be heat. Energy is dissipated in the heat form. This applies for any kind of this energy pyramid to any kind of ecosystem. It will be always upright. If I take example for any, if I take this formula for any ecosystem, always it will be upright. Come to this thing, sir. Pyramid of numbers. So the producer will be obviously higher energy, say 1000. The next primary consumer 100. The next secondary consumer 10. 1%. So it is upright. So apply this for this inverted thing. The producer, it is 10%. So the consumer, they will get only 100. Now the base is becoming broad and right, sir. For this diagram, if I apply pyramid of energy, the base is becoming broadened here. Okay, sir. Here it is only 100. It is only 100. Only 10 if it is going to parasite. If it is going for hyperparasite, it is 1%. So if I apply pyramid of energy for pyramid of numbers, it is getting, the inverted one is getting upright. So the same thing for aquatic ecosystem. Here also the producer will be having higher level of energy. Energy will be decreasing. Again, the inverted triangle will get upright. So pyramid of energy will be always upright and it suits to all of the ecosystem since it's abide by the law of thermodynamics and 10% law. Loss of original energy as it climbs higher up to the pyramid, right, sir? Any doubts in this, sir? These are also some functions of ecosystem. By this way only we are deriving food. By this way only ecosystem is, stability of the ecosystem is maintained. The structure of the ecosystem is built up. The function of the ecosystem is built up. So these are some of the methodologies by which we can calculate the energy level. Shall we move to next level, sir? So ecological succession. So what is succession? The process of sequential replacement of one organism by another organism. It is sequential replacement by one organism to another organism or the march towards the stable community, that is called as succession. So if succession happened when the land was empty, when the earth was empty, when the earth was barren, no organism was there, right, sir? In the barren land, say some microbes might be originated. If it is an aquatic ecosystem, some algae might be originated. To feed this phytoplankton, that is the plant-like algae, some zooplankton will come. Right, sir? To feed this zooplankton, some small fish species will come. To feed this fish species, some bigger fish will come, carnivorous fish will come. Right, sir? This is the order of succession. This is evolution. In the same manner, whenever the land is barren or empty, there is nothing, smaller plants will emerge, annual plants, those plants which can grow for an year, they will occupy the empty land. So those organisms which are occupying the empty land, that is pioneer, the first invading organism, it is called as pioneer species. Okay, you even have a tape recorder, the popular tape recorder is pioneer tape recorder because they are the one to release the tape recorder for the first time. In the same manner, pioneer species are organisms which are invading a land for the very first time when the land is empty, when the land is barren, no organism is there. So first invading organism is called as pioneer species. Afterwards, out of some climatic changes, out of this soil forming factors, the soil forming factors is favorable, more mineral is available, they will increase their longevity, lifespan from annual to perennials. Now they can grow for many number of years. Okay, sir. Now then and there will be some separated level of minerals utilizing this shrubs and herbs will be going. Right, sir? So initially softwood tree species will be coming. Later on, now they can withstand any kind of condition. They will become hardwood trees. Right, sir? This is the ecological time scale through which marching of plant species is taking place. Annuals will invade first. So for our condition, ecological succession is the sequential process of rebuilding an ecosystem when a disaster destroys. This is secondary succession. Don't confuse with this. There is a primary and secondary ecological succession. I am speaking about primary succession. When the succession is taking place for the first time, the land should be empty. The organism which is invading the empty land, that is called as pioneer species. So in this march of succession, it is a march, it is a race. All kind of interaction will take place here between the microorganism present, even between the soil. Okay, earthworms, they will help. There will be interaction, commensalism, mutualism, neutralism. All kind of interaction will be taking place between these species. Some animal species will be present. All kind of interaction will be taking place. So in the march of succession, some organism will be present, but they will be dominated by some other organism. So they will be lost completely from the march. So say, for an example, I'm telling some animals, say some tomatoes or paddy as a pioneer species. So now only we have hybrid varieties. Previously it is annual varieties. Paddy will grow for 10 months or 12 months. So paddy, later on, some other maize has occurred. This is not a pioneer species. Paddy is the pioneer species here, for an example. Then maize has marched in the order of succession. Then some other species, say pulses, they have came. But these pulses, they are dominating this maize. Previously, there was no pulses. Maize came second. But pulses came, they, out of their character, they are growing luxuriantly in all places, even where maize is growing. They are interrupting with the place of maize and they are competing with the maize crop. Now the maize crop can't keep pace with the pulse. So in the march of succession, maize will be lost. There is no maize at all in the stable community, but it is present in the march of succession. So any intermediate stage in a succession is called as Siri. It is nothing but an intermediate stage. So whatever organism which took part in the succession, it may be even in the intermediate stage. So those are organisms which took part in succession, they are called as Siri stage, Siri, and the stage is called as Cyril stage, intermediate stage. Is it clear, sir? Yes, sir. Cash crop. Okay, I'm telling for an example. So Siri is nothing but a intermediate organism which is taking part in the march of succession. And it is not a condition that all of the Siri should be present in the climax, in the last stage. Some organism will be lost. That's what I told. Maize has lost in the succession, but it was a part of succession, whether it is present or there. So those who are preparing for civil service, they will be called as civil service aspirant. Yes, sir, Cyril, sir. They are called as civil service aspirant. They even get the final service or not, it doesn't matter, but they are part of the preparation. If some fellow who come for preparation, he is called as a civil service aspirant. It doesn't mean whether they are successful or unsuccessful. In the same manner, in a forest ecosystem or any ecosystem, those our organisms which took part in the succession are called as Siri. Whether it is present or absent in the last stage, it doesn't matter. Understand, sir? So it is called as intermediate stage. And finally, okay, sir. Finally, a stable community will be formed. Okay, sir. This is called as some kind of forest. Say, I'm telling it as a sandalwood forest. Yes, sir. Cyril, sir. Right, sir. That's what I'm asking. Yes, sir. It is called as Cyril stage. For maize sake, I have given an example. You should not take maize as such as an Siri. It may vary. I have told maize as an example for Siri. Siri means those organisms which participated in the succession. The character, the condition is criteria is whether it is present or not, it doesn't matter in the stable community, in the final community. Okay, sir. So the pioneer species occupied. Afterwards, many species came into limelight. They all interact. Some organism will be lost in the process. And in the final stage, some organisms are many organisms are present. This last stage is called as climax stage or climax community. So whatever organism is present at the end stage of the succession, they are called as climax community. Organism present in the last stage of succession are called as climax community. Any doubts in this, sir? So the initially invading organism is called as pioneer species. The condition is the land should be empty. It should be a barren land. So whatever organism which took part in the succession, including the pioneer, is called as a Siri, intermediate stage. Whether it is present or absent, it doesn't matter for me. If it is part of the succession, then it is called as Siri. The last stage is called as climax community. It is a stable community. Understand, sir? So this succession may be again classified as autogenic and allogenic succession. So this is primary succession. What I told is primary succession at the initial stage of formation of ecosystem. But say if there is a forest fire, okay, naturally if there is a forest fire, this entire ecosystem will be thrashed. It will be fired. It will become ashes. The entire ecosystem will burn and there will be only ash. But here the soil forming factors are already present. So at the initial stage, that is in the primary succession, the weathering will be limited. There will be some small pieces of rocks even. Some bigger rocks will be present. Right, sir? So when the succession is completed, there will be some higher level of soil formation will be there. The only condition is here there is a forest fire or else some flood activities or else some volcano. So the entire ecosystem is collapsed, but the soil is what's that? Well developed. So say this forest plant is having some seeds. When it is burned, the seed will reach the soil. When it is flooded, the seeds will be plowed into the soil. It is present inside the soil. So when it is burning, the seeds present inside the soil, they will re-emerge. So this succession, after the primary succession, it is called as secondary succession. Always secondary succession will be comparatively faster than primary succession because it takes more time for the invading species in the primary succession to get suitability for this, to get adapted to the condition. So our interaction, if it is competition type of interaction, some organism is benefited and some organism is lost. Right, sir? Excuse me. Yes, sir. Hydrats and giraffes. Yes, sir. We will tell you, sir. So let me finish first this primary and secondary. So in empty land, if succession is proceeding, it is called as primary succession. When out of some natural calamity or else anthropogenic activities, so even I can set forest fire. Naturally, even forest fire may happen, and even out of human-induced action, out of climate change, anything may be a reason for flooded condition or forest fire. This entire ecosystem will collapse, and one more time succession has to start from the scratch. This is called as secondary succession. But the available conditions are more favorable. The soil conditions are more favorable. Already there is mineral mobilization, mineral availability. So secondary succession will be faster compared to primary succession. Have it in mind. That is the thing. Secondary succession is faster. At least germ blossoms are present. At least some seeds are present available inside the soil. Some trees will be half burned, right, sir? They will be alive. They will re-emerge. Some trees may have offshoots. they will raise offshoots from the main trunk. Some new saplings will emerge after even forest fire. This is called as coppiecing. So secondary succession will be always faster than primary succession. This is one more point. And I told succession can be again classified as autogenic and allogenic. If succession is happening because of characters present inside the forest ecosystem, biological factors, not an external factor. The succession is taking place because of some devastation is taking place because of the internal factors of the ecosystem, then it is called as autogenic. If it is taking place from the outside external force, then it is called as allogenic succession. Sir, offshoots only taking place in bamboos. It is also taking place in mangroves, sir. It is also taking place in mangroves, drumstick, banana, right, sir? Many plants are there, sir. Many trees are there. Sugar cane, it is rattooning. The term is rattooning, but it's a kind of offshoots only. So come to this hydrats and zirats. Okay, hydrats, when the succession is starting from a wetted area, hydra means water, hydro. Hydrat succession means in a wet condition, when the succession is taking place in a wet condition, then it is called as hydrats. Zirats, xerophytics, those organisms which are dwelling in a arid air condition, dry land condition. So zero means dry. When the succession is taking place in a arid condition or dry land condition, then it is called as zirats. In a wet condition, if the succession is taking place, then it is called as hydrats. Both of these conditions will result in something called as mesoarch. Okay, so that is they will be having, they completely won't get converted as a hydro ecosystem and they won't completely get converted as a dryland ecosystem. They will form an intermediate ecosystem. Okay, an intermediate ecosystem is formed. Okay, so that is not that much important, sir. Noah's Ark is not that much important. Here the condition is that it may be any kind of succession, it will be something called as mesoarch only. It will lead to mesoarch, hydroarch or xeroarch, anything it may be. And one more important term is there, cerule. Right, sir? Cerule. We finished with this, sir. Cerule. What is cerule? Very important. So these succession, what we are speaking now, it is, see, sir, it started from annual crops, perennial crops, finally, what's a exorbitant tree, a hardwood tree has evolved. So can I tell these are nothing but producers? These are producers. When I'm speaking about succession in a broader scale, they are going to produce a massive producers. A climax community will be having a massive producer, right? Whereas when these producers are going to upsize, when they are reaching senescence, what is senescence, sir? Not only this broader or bigger tree species I'm asking, even some shrubs and herbs, they have to undergo senescence. What is senescence? Getting older, sir, right? Very good. Thank you, man. So getting older. Abscissions means they will shed their leaf or any particle. Yes, sir. Yesterday we dealt. Abscissions means losing their part before maturity or before getting older, right? I told abscisic acid, which is used for bonsai. Whereas senescence is a natural age-holding process. When this tree is going to dry, when the lifespan of this tree is lost, the entire tree, the strength of the trunk will be lost and they will fall in the ground, right, sir? When it is falling into the ground, what will be the action, sir? When it is reaching the ground, what will be the action? It has to get decomposed, right? Who will decompose this, sir? Microorganisms are going to decompose. Okay. Microorganism. So cerule is nothing but, so this primary succession is nothing but a bigger level of succession. Cerule is nothing but microbial succession. So cerule is dealing with decomposition action. So how microbes evolve? Okay, microbial succession. So at the initial stage, when the tree is falling from the wooden log, fungi will derive the nutrients. Right, sir? partially they will derive the nutrients. Later on, the entire, even when the fungi dies, bacteria will decompose that. So the cellule succession starts from fungi, that is partial succession. Okay, sir. The particle is being decomposed partially, whereas bacteria, okay, that will decompose completely. Anything, the entire, we can't see the entire tree species after some years. Okay, so if a part of a wooden log is reaching the earth surface, over the wooden log, you can see some mushroom growing. The mushroom is nothing but a fungi. They will partially decompose that left out particles, whereas a bacteria will completely decompose the entire organic matter. So this order of microbial succession is called as cellule. Very, very important, sir. So I can even tell it as a decomposition succession, and this succession as a production succession. Can I tell, sir? Do you accept, sir? It is a producer succession, and this is a decomposition succession. So always succession is associated with producer. We can't tell like that, because here there may be various animals associated. Right, sir? Any doubts do you have, sir? So rest of the classification we'll deal tomorrow. I will quickly revamp what we dealt. We saw something about functions of ecosystem. In functions of ecosystem, food chain and food web, it is about biodiversity. Food web is having higher biodiversity. Higher the biodiversity means stability of the ecosystem is assured. When I'm telling ecosystem, it is nothing but the structural and functional unit of the biosphere. The structure is because of the various components present in the ecosystem. If it is a forest ecosystem, what is the type of trees? What is the type of vegetation? What is the type of animal? Based on that, I'm getting a structure. Whereas all of these animals and plants, they have to interact. This interaction gives a function, right, sir? That's why it is called a structural and functional unit ecosystem. So ecosystem may be natural and artificial. Aquatic ecosystem, I can broadly classify it based on its mobility. If it is flowing, it is called as floatic. If it is stagnant, it is called as lentic. And based on the dissolved salt content, if it is 5 ppt or less than 5 ppt, it is drinkable water in 1000 ml of water. I can drink potable water, fresh water ecosystem. Above 35, it is marine ecosystem, and between 5 to 35 ranges, brackish water ecosystem. Right, sir? And then we went out to pyramids. So bringing in a diagrammatic manner, what is energy, what is the number, what is the viability of the ecosystem, everything bringing this in a pictorial form, that is called as pyramid. So initially we dealt something about pyramid of numbers. This is not suitable because it is, what's that? Pyramid of numbers is giving a mismatching result forming. It is giving inverted. It is getting inverted for pyramid of numbers in a forest ecosystem, whereas it is upright for a gastroid ecosystem, and counting each and every organism involved is a tougher task for me, so it is not suitable. So next one, pyramid of biomass, that is the dry weight calculation of the organism. That is also, technically speaking, practically speaking, it is not at all possible. How many plants I can take and I calculate the biomass? How many animals I can capture and go for biomass calculation? And simply in scientific term, if I'm going for pyramid of biomass, it is getting inverted for an aquatic ecosystem. It is getting upright for a forest and grassland ecosystem. Whereas pyramid of energy, it is a universal law. It is applicable based on law of thermodynamics. It is based on 10% law. It is based on entropy. That is, some hidden form of energy is always present in any type of organism, in any type of mechanism. Some heat is retained by the concerned entity. The remaining energy only is utilized. Remaining energy only is transferred. This is 10% law. So producer will be always at the base level. So from this only 10% is available. When we are moving from one trophic level to another trophic level, the energy is getting decreased, right, sir? So pyramid of energy, it is applicable to all of the ecosystem. It is always upright. So that is the most suitable one, right, sir? So beyond this, we discussed something about types of interaction. In types of interaction, mutualism and symbiosis. Symbiosis is nothing but a mandatory mutualism, a compulsory mutualism. To derive a name, I need compulsorily two interaction between two organisms. If there is no interaction between these two organisms, I can't name it. Lichens, there is no name lichens. I can't name something as a lichens or lichens if algae and fungi is meeting. Even though algae and fungi can live separately, if they come closer, then only there is a name as lichen. That is an example of indicator species. Whereas mutualism, there may be some alternative. It is not a condition, the other organism will not die out of it in the absence of some other organism. So honeybee, beetles, wasp, pollination we discussed, and commensalism and amensalism. Commensalism, I told that one organism is benefited and other organism is unaffected. That is the barnacles over the neck of the whale, right, sir? That is commensalism. Amensalism, one is affected and other remains unaffected. A small plant growing under the shade of the bigger tree. Here the shade will not allow this plant to get dominated. This is affected and this fellow is not affected. Okay, and competition when the resource is very limited. Mutualism when the resource is abundant in nature. I can even tell that there is no kind of interaction at all. Right, sir? Parasitism and predation. The higher end form of eating is called as predation. One organism is benefited, other remains affected. Parasitism, I can tell the miniature level of predation is called as parasitism. Okay, it derives energy. Here also one is benefited and other remains unaffected. And succession, coming to succession, it is the sequential replacement of one organism by another organism. After various interaction, they will form a stable community. In an empty land, when the first species is invading, it is called as pioneer species. All of the intermediate stage are called as Siri, and this intermediate stage is called as Cyril stage, and the final stage is climax community. This climax community is formed out of various interaction which is taking place between organisms to form an ecosystem. You should be clear while telling a statement. Okay, it is a statement-based question. What you can expect in UPSC, sir. Understand? And hydrats and xerads, when the succession is moving from wet condition, it is hydrats. When it is starting from dry condition, it is called as xerads. Both will form a intermediate stage only. It doesn't develop completely as an aquatic. It doesn't develop as a completely as an dry land thing. Autogenic, when the damage is caused within that ecosystem, it autogenic. Allogenic, when an external disturbance is there, it is called as allogenic. And cellule succession is nothing but microbial succession. Normally it starts from fungi, then it moves to bacteria. Right, sir? Anything we left out, sir? Any doubts do you have? And we discussed something about allelopathy, invasive species. Eucalyptus is an invasive species, an alien species, a foreign species. We introduced this. Allelopathy, the pseudochemicals are secondary metabolites, which is not directly used by the plants for themselves, but they are doing some hindrance. They are not allowing some other plants to grow in there. Which circle, sir? The area up to which the root is extended by a tree. What do you call this circle as? What do you call this circle as? Sir, revision, I'm not revising for me, sir. What do you call this circle up to which the root is extended? Someone, sir, faster. What do you call this circle as? What do you call this circle as, sir? This circle is called as dip circle, right? Dip circle. Thank you, Uday. It is called as dip circle, right? So in this dip circle, out of the secondary metabolites released by this plant, it doesn't. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Secondary metabolites or secondary chemicals released by the plants, it doesn't allow some other plants to grow in this area. Again, this is called a allelopathy effect, not allowing some other plants to grow in this area. And again, they are subsoil water degrader. So it is important to study about the ecological niche of an organism before introduction. Before introducing anything, we have to study the entire niche of an organism. We have to study the entire niche of the organism. It is ultimately needed. Okay, sir. Niche is nothing but it may be of night mutated niche, chemical niche, and various things are associated. So rest of the things we'll discuss tomorrow, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any doubts do you have? Sir, a bigger doubt has came, sir. Sir, in agriculture, practice like zero tillage, PUSA, biodegradable vermin locus mechanism used by farmers to control their stress, zero budget agriculture. Can we expect this in your upcoming? Sir, surely, sir. Surely, sir. Surely you can expect all of this discussion in our agriculture part of discussion. Okay. Then and there, if I'm leaving anything, you kindly ask me a question. I will deal it. Okay, sir. Permaculture is there. Permaculture, I have made a slide of permaculture, sir. If you want to have a look of this, we can have a look of this thing, sir. It is our last part of discussion. It will be our last part of discussion. So see, sir, in agriculture, we will be discussing what is the type of agriculture, pattern, what is the system. You will get questions based on the systems only. What is hydroponics? Okay. What are the types? Here I have discussed permaculture. We'll deal, sir. We'll deal it, sir. Thank you so much, Uday. Thank you so much. Sir, thank you so much, Uday. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Kindly drop your doubts in the comment section, sir, so that we can deal. So environmental science is all about understanding. It's not about how voluminous things you are reading. It is all about understanding. If you ask questions, we'll make it more sensible, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Have a nice time. Let me meet tomorrow, sir. Thank you so much. I'll wind up, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.